Oh, right, we're back. Or we're on. Not back, we're live. We're doing this thing. Hey everybody, it's High Shelf Gaming. We are going to be doing some Cyberpunk Red tonight. I don't have a lot of announcements. Let's see here.
New episode, new podcast episode.
Yeah, that's right. We did release a
Still
podcast
is it?
episode all about Gen Con Online, our impressions of it, what all we got up to with that one. That one was a really good one. We are working on the next episode right now, which is, gosh, what was the topic of this one? I think this one is all about it's all about like single player games. Rich, I don't know if y'all know this, but Rich loves single player board games. Like loves them, has lots of them. So that's probably gonna be our next episode. Is talking all about single player board games. Um, and then let's see. After that, we have this week coming up. Um, our werewolf game is looking like it's going to be in the latter half of November, based on what everybody's availability is. We're still nailing that one down. So sometime after the 17th, probably. Wednesday, Blades in the Dark. Mike, are we going to be streaming from your machine or from my machine again?
That may depend on if Zoom makes my machine catch fire the next time I try it.
Sweet. Oh my god.
Solid.
Yes. Yes. Oh, I wish
And
that
like
Rich
getting
played
half my
Jumanji.
stuff fixed, yeah,
Yeah.
and other stuff just keeps breaking. So
Good. Good. I love technology. I love computers when we rely on them for all of this, and then they say, "Oh, we're done." Just so you know,
yeah,
we're done.
I need a break.
No
I
explanation.
need a break.
Yeah. No 2 weeks notice. None of that stuff. Just done. We'll look like we're ready, but we're not ready.
Very human of them.
Very human, disturbingly
that's how
human.
they lull us into the sense of security. That's
Yes. Speaking of lulling us into a false sense of security, let's get into Cyberpunk Red tonight. So tonight's cast is over here to my side. We've got Mike playing Oz the Netrunner, and we've got Casey at home. You're not in a truck.
Yes. I'm not in the truck, y'all. I'm actually at my house.
There's like a legit window behind you.
Right?
They're pretty amazing. And then next to Vinton, or Casey playing Vinton, is GSSG playing Ta, our techie. And,
Hello?
and on the vertical column is, of course, me, and then Mike, other Mike, playing Dexy, our fixer, and Katrina playing Vi, our med tech.
Hey everyone.
So we are, let's see here. We're at camp. We're at the Midnight Runners camp. It's been a handful of days since y'all got back. The family has been paid out for the delivery of the train. I still owe you all to tell you how much individuals got for everything. But the family is kind of a buzz, excited that the Edge Runners are back. Roy's Chexican Motel Cafe is getting set up, or has probably gotten set up by now, on Highway 101, just on the other side of the mountain range from you guys. And they are, serving up those colachadillos and the what was some of the other stuff?
Mola-
another
Mola-
enchilaches.
Enchiladas.
Molaches.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. All that good stuff. So yeah, they're just down the road from you guys, basically down that mountain pass that you all go through to get to 101. But other than that, Hitchens, she made it back with her mother and all the gear. You guys have a Borg suit and a couple of servers from that operation. Those are basically probably the Borg outfit. All the Borgware is in the workshop. The servers are probably in some other tent that's been repurposed as the data center tent now, because there are actual servers here, not like a little Netrunner playground, but like an actual thing to work on. And so those are sitting here at camp. It's part of your payout for the last mission in the hot zone. And yeah, what do y'all want to? And nachos. Thank you, Jagos. What do y'all want to get up to today?
So I would. Oh, go ahead.
Nope.
I would actually like to go into Benny's camp and make that call to
Okay.
the Meta family real quick and see what they need from us.
Cool. Yeah, so you go into the communications tent, which is a
Mhm.
little, we've described it before, it's a darker tent. It is, it's like a half circle, right? Little dome
Mm.
sitting on the ground there. And right outside of that dome is a tall antenna with satellite dishes pointing across the horizon, large whips and all that kind of stuff for various radios. And Benny's in there along with his assistant. And Benny, I'll just pull up Benny real quick. Benny is sitting there, sees you coming up, and says, "Ah, Vinton, yeah, man. You ready to call our friends?"
Yeah, I think I've been chasing this a little bit long, and I would like to see what's up.
Okay. Well, here's he kind of takes the radio and tunes it to. Here's our guy Benny up here. He takes the radio and tunes it to the frequency that they offered up earlier, and with the right encryption key and that kind of thing to be understood by them and no one
Mhm.
else. He says, kind of looks at you and says, "Make sure you get everything you need out of this conversation because they told me this key's going to work one time."
Gotcha.
All right.
Mm.
He sits down and hits the little push talk button. He says, Meta Tribe, this is Midnight Runners. Benny on the handle today. I have Vinton Starr here ready to speak with Gabriel Lopez. And there's a bit of a pause. And then some radio operator comes back, says, this is the SSM. What would they call themselves? The SSM Painted Horse out off the coast of California. I have
Oh wow.
Miss Lopez here, ready to speak with Vinton.
Okay, I'll walk up to the mic.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Miss Lopez? This is Benton Starr. Heard y'all been trying to get in contact with me. What can I do for you?
Comes back. Howdy, Vinton. Yes, we've been trying to reach out to you for a little while now. Timing is good on your return reply. I trust that your trip away has brought you back in good health.
For the most part, a couple extra bullet wounds, but nothing that the good doc here didn't patch up.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad you're healthy. So we've been in contact with you once before. You helped us with a little thing with Petrochem.
Yeah, I remember that. Quite a show.
The crew out here sends you their thanks. You set them up for success that day, and well, that means something to the Meta people.
Excellent. I appreciate that. It was a very awe-inspiring bit of work y'all people did, and I would like to do more work for y'all if that's possible. To be honest with you.
Well, it's good to hear. Well, my understanding is that your camp is still placed outside of Night City. Is that right?
For now, but we are hunting for other work. But for now, we're placed here.
All right. Well, that's good. We're going to be in your neighborhood soon. In a day or so, as a matter of fact. I understand it that some of our contacts have passed along your continued interest in speaking with us, and that means something. And also that you may know somebody that we are going to come in contact with, and I would like to pick your brain about her a little bit if I could.
Go ahead, shoot. Who is it?
Do you know? It's a fixer by the name of Ember.
There's a slight delay as he takes in a deep breath. Like, yeah, I know of her.
Right. Well, we have a business arrangement with Ember to meet on neutral ground, and I'd like to hear in your words what her disposition is. Is she someone who can be trusted to have a peaceful negotiation, or not?
he has to think about that, but not too long. I was like, she is well connected from the little bit of research I've done on her, and she's a very business oriented woman, straight to business type kind of person. She is showing signs of working with Arasaka. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
Hmm.
And she has a Borg on her side, her father, from what I've understood. But from what my tech and a former family member took a look at, he might not be in the best of shape mind wise. So you might have to tread lightly. But if you're coming with business, she seems like a business oriented person. Not very friendly, but if it's all about business and you all come on the up and up, she'll treat you fairly. Now her cohorts, I can't say. From what I'm seeing, it's Arasaka. And we all know how that went down a couple years ago.
Comes back.
So
You said mental state. Cyber psycho?
no dementia, from what I understand. He's not that not as clear in the head as he used to be. It seems I wasn't there in person because she kicked me out of her office. Our family didn't have the greatest start off. We accidentally took some parts that might have belonged to her, not knowing it was her. I was able to smooth it out some, but she didn't want me anywhere near her father at the time. But my people coming back said that it seems like his mind's going. Body's able, mind's not so much. But it's not like a psycho thing. But a Borg that's losing his mind in that sense is probably not something you want to be in front of.
Indeed. Well, that's quite informative of you. Thank you, Vinton. I wanted to, as a uh, as a gesture of thanks, and I hope to do more work with you. I wanted to send over a little gift. We a while back came into possession of some um, area protection gear that, frankly, we just don't need out on the water. And what you've shared with me, I think, has earned this as a form of payment for the intel you've provided. It is a small detachment of drones
Oh,
that can sweep an area. They're set up for long flight times, no armament, but they can tell you what's going on in around a campsite kind of thing. And given the nature of your group and the fact that you're landbound with ready access to, um, you know, a stable landing pad, if I have to be honest, these would probably do you a great more deal good than it would us.
Excellent. No, we'll take it, ma'am. We need all the defense we can get.
Sure thing. Sure thing. So, if I could, I'd like to ask you one more favor as a job to consider. We plan to meet with Ember in the coming days, and given your familiarity with her and possible associates, I don't really want you there at the meet. I don't want her to think something's up. But I sure would like it if your crew was there, maybe watching a feed of the meeting and give us some insights as to how you think it's going down. I think having you watch it unfold, if you've worked with her before and maybe you catch some behavior that we would miss, having never met her before,
Right.
you might give us the heads up of something going down if that we might otherwise miss.
Understood. So you would like me to be what? Just eyes in the sky, or sniper perch? Like, give me a general direction what you need me to do.
We would have a safe room set up nearby that was getting a audio video feed of the meet, and
Mm-hmm.
we'd want you there just as an observer, Let us know what
Mhm.
you think of her as the session is going on, as the meet is going down. If something bugs you, tell us.
Gotcha. Do you need any quick exfil or rapid response team?
Oh, I think we got that handled.
I'm just offering. I know you got it handled, but that's just what I do.
I understand. I understand. No, that's good. Good to know that we've got a friend there on the ground, and that I want you to know I do appreciate that.
Hey, us families got to stick together, right?
That's right. Nomads forever.
Yes, sir. Or ma'am. Sorry.
Either one's appropriate. Out of
Yeah,
character, either one's appropriate in this position. Like she's
gotcha.
semi-military, so like
Oh, okay.
whatever,
Gotcha.
Um, anyways, so Miss Lopez shoots back, says, "Well, as that time approaches, I'll shoot you an address and a time.
Absolutely.
If you're bringing any friends, of course, let me know, just so I can tell the group to expect you."
Understood. I think I have 2 other people I would like to bring along on that, but I'll get clearance to see if they're down for it.
Okay. All right. Well, Vincent, you stay safe, and you'll hear from us soon.
Excellent. Appreciate you, ma'am.
Yep. Expect delivery by the end of the day.
Awesome. I'll have my techies ready and looking, and have our security known
Okay. All right. We'll be coming in by air.
by air. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Over and out.
Yep. Yeah. Shoot out or whatever the proper
Yeah.
response is. And so yeah, that's your meta meet.
He's like, yeah. I was like, we got drones, Benny. We got security drones.
He said, I heard. It's pretty exciting. I think the only drone we've got is one of the old netrunners here had a busted up drone that he was nursing to health, and then that.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That sounds exciting.
I'll let
I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that.
You got that?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll let security know to expect. They said by air, so like a helicopter or something.
Right.
And
Probably a VTOL, knowing this crew.
okay, all right, high end, got it. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
You bet. Well, that's exciting. Let me know if you need anything from me. All right.
Yeah. I appreciate it, Benny. Hopefully this pans out for us.
Yeah, Vin.
Kind of messes up some other plans, but I'm gonna try to deal with the nomad family than a corporate family. It sounds like.
Hey, we gotta pick somebody, right?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Man, I'm gonna go find Dexy and the good doctor.
Cool.
So can I jump in then for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
With like I kind of wanted to do like meanwhile at the breakfast line, right? Like because Dexy's there, shades on over the breakfast plates. Is like Ta is like if you're cool with doing a scene there, Ta. Like he keeps like leaning in to like try to put breakfast on Ta's plate, but like stopping because he's like saying something in the middle of it. Like before he's like Ta's probably like just give me the eggs. Right? Like,
Sure. That'll be fine.
but I think Dexy will eventually be like, hey, did you go into the city when they went and talked to Ember? Right? Because Ta went and did that, didn't he?
Which time? We've talked to Ember twice, haven't we?
First time I think.
Only one?
Oh, I'm.
Oh, the first time, the
I'm
surgery?
more
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
I and he kind of like is a little frustrated that he's not getting food. He's like, yeah, I was there. Yep.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, come with me. And he then like instead of even like doing the back and forth with the eggs, he just like puts the spoon back into the tray. He's like, no, come back here with me into the back, like into the kitchen.
Okay.
He's like,
And
I need you here in case I need to like flag you down while I make this call. Because
Okay.
so it's like just stay there and like go put it on speaker, but like stay quiet. So Dexy can call back Ember and like if he needs to ask Ember, have like can try to be like yes or no, should I do that, Ta? Right, kind of deal.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and then
so
when he says that, Ta's just given up and he's just ripped open like a nutrient paste bar and just eating it.
He's kind of got like a scowl on his face, having been denied fresh hot food.
He's like, yeah, just sit there next to the toaster, and it's all like empty bags of bread because all of it was already used for toast that was given out to people. Like, yeah. But yeah, Dexy has this like call in his like voicemail that's been collecting dust from Ember that he hasn't called back yet. So
Yeah.
he needs to do that.
Yes. So you sit down with Ta while you phone up Ember, and let's toss Ember back up on the screen here. So you phone up Ember, right, from your agent.
Yep.
And just so we remember, Ember is a fixer, but her whole skin from head to toe is chrome. It's all chromed out. And so like probably even her avatar or icon, her net icon, and all that kind of stuff. It's all relating to the fact that she's full head to toe chrome skin. Excuse me. And it rings for a little bit, and then you hear Ember pick up, and sounds she's like she's in a hallway or someplace that echoes a little bit, right? And she says, Dexy, it's good for you to return my call. How are you?
Things are going well out here. I wanted to make sure I got back to you. Leave you hanging when you went out of your way to get in touch, and like Dexy says words that are nice, and like oh yeah, no, that's great. It's gonna be a good thing. Hey, how's it going? All right.
Yeah, of course. She says, "Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I understand you're back in town. Is that right?"
Yeah. Back here around Night City.
Good. Your compatriot Venton shot me a little note. Glad to see that everybody's doing well.
Did he now?
I did. I wanted to chat with you a little bit, Dexy. With the Midnight Runners kind of in the position that you're in, you all have kind of an outsider's view as to goings on within Night City, and I think that has some value. I want you to know that everything that transpired between Midnight Runners and my father and I, it's all water in the bridge. All forgiven.
Happy to hear that. And there was some initial missteps early on when we were still getting to know one another, but glad things are on a better tack now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, everything's good there. So I want you to know I was in your neck of the woods not too long ago, and me and some friends of mine uncovered some stuff. It's of interesting nature, and
Please don't involve my blood samples. Please don't involve my blood samples.
no, yeah, right. He's like, please. She says, it's interesting information, and I think that it has a bit of value, but I'm not too sure what at this point. So I guess what I mean to say with that front is I may be coming to you soon with an offer of intel, and it could be something worth a great deal of fortune for the person or persons willing to go out and get it at some effort. And so I'd like to hear, or I'd like to kind of prep you for that, in that I may come to you asking for a great deal of money in exchange for this information. I don't want that to be a surprise, because I think that if there's anybody that's going to chase this little white rabbit, it's probably going to be the Midnight Runners or someone like your crew. And quite frankly, I'd rather work with a group that I've already worked with a bit, if that makes sense.
Glad to hear that. We're always happy to have return customers here at the Midnight Runners. Keep our surveys behind you.
I'm
A lot
sure
of fine testimonials that go on to this side of our camp. I guess I don't know if that's.
I'm sure you do. Well, that's good. That's real good. You know, another thing came up in that. Are you familiar with SLO, the city just to the southeast of us here at Night City?
That's a good question. Is Dexy like?
Your call. SLO it's a city that really exists.
Well, it's like
Luis
San Luis
Obispo?
Obispo. Yeah.
Yep, yep, exactly. And it's a small city compared to Night City, and Night City really sucked up all the oxygen in this part of California.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is you know, what's your local expert at? It's pretty good, I think, for Night City.
Let's see. Education skills. Local expert is 2 for Westbrook.
Okay, go ahead and roll me local expert. Let's see, because SLO is going to have some. They're gonna ping Night City some, and so you may have some rumors about SLO just from your local expert.
Okay. I'll throw 2 luck on there because Dexy's family they moved around a bunch when they were doing shows in different places. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah, I'm
maybe
into that.
Okay.
Would there have been an info drop,
Very nice.
Alice in Blue, about us slow?
Right. Um. So this is yeah.
Okay.
So Ember says yeah. Or I'm sorry, SLO. SLO is a town nearby. With your past knowledge of that city, it's frankly a smuggling city, right? A lot of stuff moves through there. A lot of illicit goods moves through SLO on the way to Night City, on the way up to Sacramento, down to LA or down into Mexico. Um, it's a it's a like gosh, it's like I don't know if you ever saw the old Arasaka movie Ojimbo, where like the city is basically run by gangs, but there is a small civil government that kind of is just on the bubble, sitting between these various gangs, and they're just trying to like keep keep it so that normal folk can live here, kind of thing, while these gangs do all of their um, movements, right? Kind of eyeing each other from across the street, sort of thing. Um, and so Dexy would probably know that SLO is like that, right? That it's basically a criminally run city. There is a civil government, but it's there because it tries really hard to look the other way when the big stuff is happening, right?
Okay.
Like they'll get somebody for speeding, but they won't get anybody for trafficking. Kind of deal.
Okay.
And you would know that Silas and Dexy, or not Silas and Dexy, Silas and Blue had visited SLO at some point, right? And that they met with the mayor, and there was some discussion about delivering water to the city.
Okay.
That never came to fruition. The family never went that direction, but there was at the very least a meet and an exploration of an opportunity that never went anywhere.
Okay.
Anyways, so Ember says, so SLO down there down there just south of us, they have been a reliable business partner of mine for quite some time. Recently, however,
I'd say they have a lot of great places where you can like put on really good outdoor shows for them.
indeed,
Draws a
indeed,
good crowd. There's some real true believers in settling. That's a lot.
indeed, Dexy. So the oh, that's right. You used to be an entertainer. That's right. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting that. Well, Dexy, you might appreciate this. The entertainment business in SLO has been drying up. They have not been the stalwart business allies of mine that I would like. And it would be really nice if you went on a little fishing expedition for me. If you could go down there and offer them a deal of some nature, I just want to know the results of that deal. Are they willing to work with anybody? Is it just me they don't like? Is really what I want to know. Or all closed up for everybody. Because I've been working with them for a number of years, and all of a sudden, I can't seem to get anybody to take my call. And my position is such that I really can't get out of the city to go check on that. But
Understandable.
I do need to know if they are still willing to do business with anybody. And if not me, if they can do business with you, that's good enough for me. I would happily fence my wares through you.
I'm sure that could be arranged. Um, the question Mike has, and he can't phrase in Dexy terms right now,
Sure.
is she talking about business with the pseudo government or with like the gangs?
That's a good question. So you two, actually do me a conversation. As you're like having this discussion with her, what all tidbits can you get out of her in terms of what exactly is the nature of her relationship when you go down there? Who are you really going to be asking to see? That kind of stuff is all important stuff.
Okay. 26.
Nice, awesome. She also rolls really well, but you glean that she deals primarily with the actual civil government there. Specifically, she deals with the morgue.
With
The morgue.
sorry, you broke up.
The
The morgue.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So throughout that conversation, you kind of glean that really she's in with the police department, specifically like the morgue and body handling and that kind of thing. That those used to be who she dealt with, and apparently they're the ones not talking to her now.
Okay. Um. Yeah, I think we can figure out something that we can try to see about making a deal with somebody down there. See if that turns up any leads on if they're who they are talking to, if they are talking to anyone.
Sure.
See what we can find out for you there.
If they if they are willing to make deals with you, I'll share with you more of what I need to buy from them and how I can best fund that for you. I don't know what they would ask for from you, but if there is some way for me to reopen those lines to me, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, I can understand that for sure. Um,
Sure. Well,
I'm not sure if there's anything else for Dexy to try to ask for out of this right now, right?
yeah, I don't think that she has anything else to say
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, you guys close up the conversation pleasantly enough, right? Very professional and all of that good stuff. And she gets back to whatever it is she's doing.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, then Dexy will hang up and be like, well, sorry for dragging you out of line there, Doc, but
As
just
soon as
I,
he hung up the call, he'd probably start walking away.
that's probably when Squeaks comes in from the front, like bringing in the egg, from the like the steam tray that like had the thing of eggs in it, with,
Yeah.
like a little sterno underneath to keep them warm.
Yeah.
Like Squeaks comes in from the back with like the tray from it, like just empty.
Yeah. There's like scraps of eggs left in there.
Yeah. It's like it was a day that Dexy didn't even make something weird from the Caribbean for breakfast too, right? Like that's
It's like straight up meat and potatoes breakfast for once. Some pancakes.
yeah.
That's all I wanted was some pancakes.
No, it's just good old fashioned nutrient paste for Ta this morning.
Just sprinkle it on top of a bowl of kibble and it's fine, that's totally fun. There's all your calories you need for the day.
Yeah.
And you probably hear Ta walking back to his tent yelling at Big Toe and Wires to stop touching his stuff and don't go near the Borg suit.
Oh yeah, keeping people off the Borg suit, Ta, That's a full-time job, right? Like you now have that thing in like some sort of electrified cage or whatever you got to do.
So like in Fallout when like you find one of the like sets of power armor, but like you have to pick your way through the locked cage thing to get it out.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Oz has developed a tool that is just like a rubber finger on a thing, and he waits until he knows Taw's left and goes in and just puts fingerprints all over it. Just so then
Jokes
Taw
on you,
goes
I don't
back
have
and thinks that
fingerprints.
people are touching it.
Yeah. A lot of yelling probably would commence after blaming. Like, what are all these fingerprints, huh, Big Toe? I know it's you. I know it's you.
Poor Big Toe. It's like, no, dude, it's not me. You told me to stay in the corner. I've stayed in the corner. And the other guy's like, yeah, man, he's been in the corner the whole time.
Big greasy fingerprints all over his board.
Yeah.
I will walk in as I'm hearing this, as I'm on my way to look for the Doc and Dexy. I'm like, Tall, there's a shipment coming in from the Meta crew. It's a security drones. Give
Like
it a once.
Ta actually looks kind of surprised, and like, I'm assuming Ta would know by just like what Meta has access to. Oh,
We lost somebody.
dropped.
Oh,
Okay, back.
oh, she's back.
So Ta would actually look a little surprised and go to like the X-29 aerial sweepers or something like that, and kind of like almost like really like a little bit in disbelief.
I've been poking that bear for a while, and it looks like it's going to pay off. Hopefully, we get more business by him if this one little thing I got to do for him works out. So,
Got to build a bigger cage then. Keep
right.
people like him out of there.
Be nice to them. They've gone through enough.
I'm never nice to them. They're not nice to me. They touch my stuff.
Okay, I'll leave y'all to your work.
As
And then
you're
I'll-
leaving, one of the other techs in the room is like, good seeing you, Vincent. As they get back to whatever it is that they do.
I see y'all too. And then I would like to call Dexy and Katrina if I don't see them right off the bat into the meeting room. So
Sure.
Dexy's in the back in the kitchen. Like you hear like the sprayer for like closing out pans going. So
All right.
that's where you find Dexy. That's fine.
I love that Dexy does the dishes.
Yeah.
Like there's plenty of family, right? But like Dexy's like, nah, I'm
No, you
Dexy's
can't. I
all
can't
nomad.
trust. I cannot
Right.
trust strangers in this kitchen. Right?
We have watched him pawn work off on other people.
Yeah, but this
Just
is the
not
one
kitchen
thing.
work.
Yeah, this is the only thing he's like, no.
Oh yeah,
I'm a-
no. Like we need to paint the like 40-foot tall radio tower. Like that's little Timmy, the 6-year-old's job. Like no, the kitchen. Like no, nobody touches my kitchen.
Yeah.
Like
There's no OSHA here.
That's right. I remember that. I remember the painting the tower red or whatever it was.
I
I'll be like,
think Violet is sitting in the kitchen area, like just working on some notes, having finished like an actual breakfast that was very tasty.
Yeah, the fact that it wasn't like Caribbean jerk chicken or something for breakfast or some strange curry means that Oz probably went back for seconds and thirds, just like laying on a bench holding his stomach. Finally,
there you go.
after all this.
That's why Ta got no eggs. Like 'cause
Exactly.
Vinton didn't eat either because he was dealing with Meta. He's like, y'all does it. He smacks Oz. You couldn't leave me any food.
I couldn't let it go to waste.
nothing would make Dex more mad. Like,
Doc.
Like they were real eggs, man.
Yeah, I know. I was looking forward to that. Thanks, guys.
Early bird gets the worm.
Uh,
What's going on, Vinton?
what's up, dudes? Think I got ourselves a hopefully cakewalk of a job.
Okay.
Finally, a very long burn of a job that I've been trying. A family contact I was trying to get finally went through. Had a long, good conversation with the Meta family. You know, the mini corp that's a nomad family. They're sending over some drones in they asked me of a favor, and I think our fixer and our doctor, who's also somewhat a whiz at bureaucrat, would help me out in this situation. We got an easy security gig. Just got to go look at some cameras for a meeting with our old friend Ember. Looks like she has some work or something, and they're having a meeting with them. So
That's
I guess it's
interesting. You would bring that up. What a plate of shrimp! I just got off the phone with Ember.
oh Lord.
Oh, interesting. How the cookie crumbles. Please, guys, let's talk about this.
I don't know.
What did Ember want from you?
Ember's been doing some business with SLO, and they've been like, not really answering her calls. So she was asking if we would go try to do business with those contacts in SLO to see if it was they weren't doing business with anyone or they're just not talking to her.
Interesting. What else? Is that it?
Well, depending on how things pan out there, she was talking about if it's a situation where it's just they didn't want to talk to her for some reason, that she'd be willing to use us as, middleman, and obviously with a significant markup involved, to continue doing business and getting what she needs out of them, if they're not willing to do it directly.
Interesting.
What job do you have that involves Ember?
The META family wanted me to give some information on her because I've had some past dealings with her personally and our family in general. Didn't start off on the greatest of foot. Pretty sure E got all the shrapnel out of Dexy's leg for the grenade that he got from her.
Dexy just like massage his hip a little bit.
Just some phantom pains come back, some like memory of that trauma.
Yeah, she probably still has like a section of arm where like there's no hair on it because that's where like all the pain patches were always attached.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we had to go fix that situation, and they wanted to know what type of person Ember was. And from my own little research and her personal doings, I told them, was like, well, I know she, if not works directly, is well connected with Arasaka or somebody who's affiliated with them. I let them know because I want to garner really good relations with them because I'm much rather deal with a nomad family, really. That she has a Borg on her side that might be dealing with some brain issues, like dementia. He's up there in age, and that they should be on guard for that. And that she's all business for the most part. Quick to the point, do the job or don't do the job type kind of person. Just not afraid to get messy, but definitely would. If you're all about business, you'll handle the business. So, in turn, with that's how we'll get in these security drones that they're giving us. Should be here within the hour. We'll hear a VTOL or a helicopter or power suit, whatever they decide to drop down in, show up here soon. And on top of that, they wanted me, and I told them I had 2 other people I had in mind that might help me out, watch security feeds. So if we see something off, we can warn them and they can call the deal off and get out of there. We're not going to be shooting. Trust me, they have rapid response. But they want another set of eyes on the deal. And I was like, yeah, well, let me talk to my other 2. I know I'll do it personally if none of y'all want to, but I figured you and Dexy, I might want to get in that because that's a very powerful family to get in good graces with.
Real quick, just do any of y'all have questions about who Meta Nation is as like players?
Well, actually, if I can interject, Oz was just about to say, I was just going to say, I just have 3 questions,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm in. And my 3 questions are, who is SLO, who is Ember, and who is Meta? Other than that, I'm good.
Well, he kind of told us who Ember was, Oz, to be fair.
Chromed out chick, got a father with a mean disposition. And Borg works for Arasaka, all business. That's Ember in a nutshell.
Like to leave grenades hanging around, lying
likes to
around
leave
randomly.
grenades.
Yeah.
I have a
I mean-
player clarification question.
Mhm.
And it's more to David. Do we actually know that she works with Arasaka?
I don't know. So here's what you know. You know that her dad is Arasaka, right? Arasaka
Like
Borg.
an Arasaka Borg, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Borg from the Arasaka days. There's probably enough information out there that he fought in the Fourth Corporate War. Right. There's probably at least enough of that he was on the Arasaka side, the losing side. Right. When Vinton and Ta ran around the area in like bomb
That
squad
was-
suits.
That was Vinton and
Zen.
Zen.
Oh, was it
Tom-
Zen?
I was
Yeah,
the
it
one
was
doing the
Zen.
surgery.
He was doing him and Spring
Oh, that's
were
right.
doing
That's
surgeries.
right. That's right. It was Zen. That's right. So when they went into the convenience store, which is the front room, the lobby for the invite-only sushi hibachi grill upstairs, the clerk let slip that he had seen Ember a few times. So at the very least, she has been into there, as in into the restaurant a few times. And there is, I don't know what y'all have that links that restaurant to Arasaka.
The people that walk in. This is Vinton doing his personal, like,
Sure.
looking at the people and kind of doing like he knows Night City, predominantly Asian in the Asian neighborhood.
Yep.
There's only really one corporate out there that has this kind of power to be like, oh, we're just gonna have a thing. Like, he's well observed enough, so he's making that logic, like that link, like that. If it's not Arasaka, it's somebody associated with them, right? That's why I'm always saying that. Like, if she doesn't directly work for it, she has some tie to it.
Is
So it's just-
Arasaka an active corp?
Out of character, yes. Out of character, there are 3 branches of Arasaka. After the Fourth Corporate War, Arasaka Japan was nationalized, and the family broke up into 3 different factions. There's Arasaka US, which is basically under the thumb of President Kess. There's Arasaka Japan, and then there's Arasaka Europe, I think. In chat, you might correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure there's 3 branches of Arasaka. All of them claim leadership and ownership of the family. So there's like some like generally assumed infighting going on there. But here in Night City, Arasaka is persona non grata because they're
The
tired.
reason the nuke went off.
Right, like their building got nuked. Like they are not invited to Night City. They're still present in California, just not openly active here in the city.
Thank you. Sorry, I'll let you answer Oz's other questions. I am also curious. Then
Dexy will chime in with like some info about SLO, about it's the city of the South and it's mostly smugglers. I'm brained up with the thing that like you got hit with earlier while other people were doing stuff. Yeah, right. Like, hopefully in for that.
you mean the top quarter of this page of notes? That bring up?
Yeah. If you just want to run that into the other room for me, that would be perfect. That's
So
he'll also let Vinton know like not to feel bad about missing breakfast because tomorrow's going to be fire truck and he knows that Trent likes
oh yeah.
it.
So
Thank you for the warning. So
fire engine. Sorry.
So to answer your question, guys, on Meta, now this is more rumor than anything, but their start, from what I remember hearing from like what my pops and grandfather said, is that they're like ex-military or former ex-military from the South America War way back in the day. Didn't like how things went down when they came back, so they basically took a whole bunch of equipment and just kind of took off. A lot of APCs, a lot of Borg suits, guns, weapons.
I want to correct one thing.
Oh
They invented
yeah,
they invented the flying suits. Yeah.
And so when things went sideways here and they couldn't get back, I guess I think his name was John Meta or somebody, basically took his family, all of his troops' families, and started this nation. And nobody really can mess with them. They run more like a corp than they do anything else, but they definitely deal with a lot of big nomad nations. And getting in good, they're hard to come by. They got bones to pick with about every corp out there, but they will back families that are important to them. So I've been chasing that lead for years at this point, and when finally getting somewhere with it because they have the access to medical, weapons, transportation that honestly our family probably needs to take the next big step, and jobs and money. Probably cleaner money than what we're used to dealing with in that sense. So that's why I've been chasing them for a while.
Anybody who wants to, feel free to roll like a knowledge local expert. Because meta is going to be big enough that everybody has a chance to have heard some kind of rumor about Meta Nation, especially since you all are now rolling with nomads. Okay.
20 here.
20 and 20. Okay, good stuff.
1 second, let me find it.
Yep.
18.
Yep. I mean, Vinton's like history of meta was spot on, right? Like your 18 well reflects Vinton's understanding of the nation. The only thing that I would add in there for you is that meta are predominantly ocean based.
Right.
They started in the Gulf of Mexico. They since branched into the Pacific Ocean, and at least pre Fourth Corporate War, that's where they were. A lot of times it was out in the waters. Katrina, Dr. Vi would probably know meta in the context of her position, would probably know of meta as a group that has been able to supply like towns that are disconnected from the rest of a nation. They've been able to provide towns with medicine. So that just in the context of what Dr. Vi has probably heard about in the medical context is that they're like the Balto of the ocean, right? You've got some little coastal town that doesn't really have a strong connection with any other regional government. There's not a lot of working roads that get in there. Rumor is that Meta showed up with enough medicine to, help them fight off diphtheria or whatever ailment is now hitting everybody since we don't have normal medications available to everybody, right? So they've been able to set up some of that stuff. It has come with the agreement that there is some sort of like permission for Meta to dock and resupply there, right? So like, hey, here's some medicine that you all need. Sure, it would be nice if we could use your docks, right? Buy fuel, buy food, that kind of thing. Open you up to trade with us, kind of deal. And that I don't think that like any of those interactions would ever come with some kind of like, and then they bombed us. No like terrible things. Just like starting with aid, and it comes with the understanding that we can now trade with one another, kind of thing is what Dr. Violet would know. Dexy in the family scene, in the nomad scene, your family would probably tell the story of how John Meta and the Meta Nation pre Fourth Corporate War saved a caravan of people coming from South America. There were a bunch of like nomads going down there for construction jobs. They all left North America, went all the way down to South America to do all these jobs, got completely screwed over by the corpse, completely screwed over, left penniless with nowhere to go, and they marched their way north. And John Meta, at great personal expense and the expense of the Meta Nation, saw to it that as many of them could make it back to the United States or to the North America could. So they would bring them food and supplies, And so there's a group of nomad nations that still feel kind of a sense of debt to the meta nation. That they are like well regarded for saving that caravan of people coming from South America all the way through Central America by land, and making it back home, right? Where they could get more jobs, right? And so John Meta was part of that. Yeah, Chad is right. It was called the Long Walk, and they were instrumental in the survival of the Long Walk. Oz on a 22.
Mine is I have several local experts, but they're broken out by section. I don't know if that was what I was supposed to do.
Oh,
So I've
cool.
got one for SMUD and one for Sacramento, and that's the SMUD one.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love it. So that actually works really well. Sacramento and SMUD are pretty far inland, right? And sure, Meta Nation can reach out there if they had to, but generally speaking, their interests lie on the coasts. But SMUD has fuel, lots of fuel. And Oz would know that Meta has a relationship with SMUD for the fuel. That they're probably a big customer.
Okay.
Because flying suits, they don't run on hopes and wishes, you know. They run on chew too, you know. I mean, they run on the fuel that Sacramento makes. So they would absolutely be a customer.
All right.
I have a question, Dex.
Yeah.
What would be Violet's family's response to Meta,
I don't
if
think.
there is one?
Yeah, I don't think Dr. Weiss or that compound has a lot of interaction with Meta. You know,
Okay.
I think
No,
that
no real this way or that way about it.
yeah, probably not because Dr. Weiss is a well-connected guy, but Meta Nation is kind of too, I don't know, too much of a paladin for Dr. Weiss. You know, so he probably just like, I'm gonna give them a berth. Just gonna give them a, not gonna really deal with them much.
Okay.
If I'm
Awesome.
honest about who Dr. Weiss is.
As we should be. We should
Right.
always be honest.
Yeah. So all Dr. Vi would know is probably those rumors that filtered into medical school, right?
Okay.
Of
Super.
that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. It sounds like that we need to back a horse. Which horse are we gonna back in this situation? It sounds like Ember has it sounds like they both have work for us. We are gonna have to we're gonna have to work very, I don't even know the word. We're gonna have to work very carefully if we're going to do something for Meta that's spying on Ember, and then we're gonna go do work for Ember. Is that even something that we want to attempt to do? Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
For me, the good thing is they don't need us to be rolling security. They don't need us to come and do exfil. So it's set up in a private trailer with videos. And we're basically just reading people's body language and listening to how they're talking and dissecting that. So if things go sideways, we give them the warning. They'll probably send a howitzer from Oceanside down on Ember's head, and we will clip free and clear. They don't know it was us. If everything goes right, Ember still doesn't know it's us, and we could probably do her work until we really have to pick sides. I don't know if we're at a necessary we need to back one side or the other. Personally, though, Doc, I would like to back Meta, but that's my nomad coming out. I'll always back them before I'll back somebody who might be associated with the corp. I'll take their money. Don't get me wrong. I'll take the work that Ember has, but if we have to back somebody, I'm throwing my hat in with Meta on this one.
I don't know that we necessarily need to back one over the other. I mean, we're asked to give an opinion on a meet, and that's a fairly common thing, I would imagine. Um, but if we did have to pick a side, Meta has cooler toys.
My thought would be if the meta meet goes south and Ember gets wind of it, she's a fixer that could really mess with our stuff within Night City. Is that a risk that y'all want to take?
We've plastered over one grudge with her already. Yeah, I think we want.
I mean, that is correct, right? This is the reason why you had fragments of a grenade in your leg, I
Yeah,
believe.
this is the reason why Dexy still like limps around the camp. It doesn't really run. Like, yeah.
And the save from that was helping her Borg father, correct?
Correct. Oh, 1 second. Hold on, Doc. I'm gonna yell for Gav or Ta. Yeah, Ta. Quit yelling at Big Toe. I need your help.
You'd hear a yelling stop, and then start again, and then leave.
You hear it stop.
There's been this like low fight going on in the background that y'all have just been ignoring up until now. I love it.
And then, yeah, so after the second round, he comes over and goes, What? Did you need me? Did someone call me?"
Yeah, I did. We're talking about who we might need to back here later. We got a job for Ember and a job for the Meta Nation, and they're gonna collide. It looks like, or potentially. What's your opinion on Ember? Seeing how you had the most up close and personal situation with her.
I don't trust her one bit. I'm going to back Meta. They have cooler toys, too.
They do have cooler
Well,
toys.
that's 2 for the cooler toys group.
I like to see that.
Dexy Vinton, I guess I just need to know before we make this big decision. What do you think about the toys?
So
I mean,
I think Dexy's answer would be like on principle for like the long walk and for everything that they've done for the nomads meta, but knowing that we dug a big hole with Ember that didn't need to be dug and like still kind of itches where like the paint patches used to be. It's like haven't had one of those in a while. Maybe I can find some around. But I don't want to trash that, smack that hornet's nest again. So like I don't really know.
So here's my take then. I think that as you're right, this isn't coming to a head right now. We do this meet from Meta. We make sure that the security of the box they put us in is controlled by us. So we have Oz check everything out. We have Ta check everything out. You can use Dexy and myself as interpreters, watching body language and conversation, things like that. And if we need to bail, we bail before we're made. We get to make the meet. And also, I'm kind of curious about what Meta would like to talk to Ember about.
I am also curious to see what they have to do. That's an interesting power play on that point. I didn't think Ember would ever talk to somebody like that, to be honest with you.
There's money everywhere. So if we can do that, if we can keep that all just insulated and it's just us and nothing gets out, then we might be clear to just continue to do these other small jobs for Ember that involves slow.
I agree with that. Let's not cut off our nose to spite our face, right? Is that the saying? I can't remember.
Are we all good for this job though? Like, I know you said 2 people initially, but I would feel safer having Oz and Ta there for our personal backing. Meta should understand that, right?
They should. Or let me be the first point of contact to talk to the. Was she a captain, David?
Yeah,
Or
you didn't really get a rank,
yeah, I didn't get it right. Let me talk to the
Lopez.
what was it, Miss Lopez, and see if she would be okay adding the 2 techs because it was just originally just us 3. But I do agree with you. I would like to have the 2 techs as well. But let me be point of contact to see if that's cool with them first, in the sense of when we show up.
There's some commotion going on in the campground. You can hear people like getting up and jogging.
And
Uh,
there-
Out of the like workshop tent. There's some kind of excited voices.
and
As you're
there's our
all
shipment.
having this meet,
That sounds like that might be your delivery coming in, Ben.
you guys hear a high pitched whine of like an engine, like a jet engine.
So
All
I'm gonna
right.
stand up.
Well, let's
Start
get out there and find out what's going on.
All right.
so just for this, Violet finishes writing her notes
Mhm.
while everyone else is running out. She's
Cool.
just
Good.
I think
then she'll
Dexy
go
will like
out.
Dexy
Yeah.
will like go over by where there's like the exit to the tent to like look out the window, but like there's still kind of that thing in the back of my head. It's like when all the drones come flying in, you don't just go stand there so they can target you.
Yeah. Yeah. So you peek.
there's a little superstition involved there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you all watch as this ACPA is what they're called. Comes. I mean, it gets loud. Comes rocketing in and then like lands vertically. With all its like jetpacks kicking up tons of dust and everything. And it's holding this like crate. Just, like 2 big metal fists, big metal hands on a palletized crate. And there's like everybody's just kind of standing around, nobody's super close to it, and it like sets the crate down and kind of takes a couple of steps back. The wings do this like F-14 folding type thing where they sweep in a little bit to make a smaller profile. And you watch as like the like superheated metal begins to cool and stop glowing red.
Cool.
In this like
So that
like-
the picture makes it look like it's like a person. Is that like a
There-
person?
there
under
is
the
a
crate
person.
thing.
There
That
is
okay.
a person flying that thing. And
Sweet.
yeah, and they step back. I mean, they're probably standing 7.5, 8 feet tall in their suit. The hands are bigger than a human's hands, kind of thing. Anatomically speaking, like Dr. Vi, by the time you put eyes on this thing, you imagine that the person's hands are probably in the big forearm of the suit, right? So the suit adds an extra, foot or so on all the extremities from wherever this person's, head and body are, right? Anatomically speaking, unless this is a giant, right? Unless this person's been genetically modified, which is
It happens.
it can
I know
happen.
Totally plausible.
Yeah, it could be
Corpse do this kind of stuff all the time.
all the time.
I think back by the tent, if like Vaya's like coming out of there too, as like kind of like hanging back a little bit, it's like Dexy would kind of like, well, I mean, I see what they mean about their toys. Like,
Yeah, I think Vi doesn't go out. Like she stands there with Dexy and kind of watches from the window door.
just stay close to cover. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. And probably everybody stays back, right? And then like out of the dust, right? Because there's all this dust kicked up. You guys watch as Benny kind of like throws his leg out there as he's doing his limp out to the crate. And
I would like to be there with Benny.
okay, yeah, you
Yeah,
stroll
I'd
up with
be
Benny.
close behind.
Okay.
Then
and the 2 kids are there for the toys.
Yeah, we're there to help distribute the toys.
Yep, exactly.
It's
Mm,
Christmas.
distribute
What
is
do
not
we
the
get
word
to
I
unwrap?
use.
Yeah, and a lot of the family is staying back because it's like they've never seen anything like this before, right? And Benny gets over to the crate, and the little face shield slides up, and you can see the top of this woman's head. She's got long black hair, and She says, she kind of looks over at the four of you, right? Is Oz, Ta, Vinton, and Benny,
Yeah.
right? She looks over at the lot of you and says, which one of you is Vinton?
Me, ma'am.
And
Vinton, good to meet you. I'm Lopez.
Good. Quite a show you brought in, Miss Lopez.
It's the only way to travel.
I see that. I would like to find out one day how that feels.
Maybe. And you must be, and Benny like cuts her off. She's like, Benny, I'm Benny. She goes, yes, Benny. We spoke briefly. It's good to meet you as well. Well, here are the drones that we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We've already scrubbed them from their trackers, but you do need to know they were petrochem.
Understood. I'll point at my two at Ta and Oz and be like, these two will find if it's still able to track, they'll find it. They're some of the best in the business with us.
It's good.
Sure.
That's like arm cracking, even though he doesn't have joints, but like he just does like a full diagnostic, like turning his arms 360 degrees. Like, okay, it's like 6 months.
Yeah. She says, I think we're finalizing the timing of the meet now. She says this low so the four of you can hear, not so everybody who's watching, right? Not over the megaphone, right? She says, I do need to deliver this to you though, and she like opens a little compartment on her suit and pulls out a slip of paper and hands it over to Benny, and says, new passcode. And Benny's like, okay, cool. And you can see it's a sheet of paper with a long string of numbers and letters on it. Just as you glance it, Vinton, like he glances it for a hot second. You see it's a big string of numbers and letters, and he like closes it up. And I'm gonna have to go soon, kids.
Yep.
Okay. And closes that back up. He doesn't want anybody in the world to see that encryption key, and puts that in his pocket. He goes, okay, I will be sure to use that next time.
Okay.
She kind of looks around. Good camp.
We try, ma'am.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take off from over there. Do you need anything else from me?
Yes, real quick, ma'am. Will mission parameters allow 2 extra? I would like to bring my 2 techs along as well.
She looks at the like Oz and Ta. Sure, yeah, they can come.
Excellent. Then it'll be those 2, and then I'll point over to where Vi and Dexy are at the door, and and those 2 over there.
The shy ones. All right, sounds good.
Yep. Excellent, ma'am. We'll be ready to go when you go ready.
All right. It's good to meet you.
Good to meet you too, ma'am.
And then she like turns, and you watch as the suit like kind of moves a little stiffly, and then the wings prop back out, and then she and it's like a real slow takeoff at first, and then like once she can start getting a little bit of forward momentum, she can really take off with that thing. But the hover off the ground is like, it almost looks like it's not going to work at first, right? Like she's a couple of inches and then maybe a foot or so off the ground, and she's kind of drifting like, is she about to crash? Is this going to work? What's happening here? And then like she just
got into the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Away from the tent. And then she just pitches forward a little bit more and more and more, and then starts taking off. And banks back out to the ocean. As all that.
Definitely got to get me one of those one of these days.
Hey, Dexy. While we're kind of watching that, it's really just me and Dexy in here. Do you think the crew is going to be able to work both sides of this job or subsequent jobs?
Well, I liked how everybody kept saying if something goes wrong. I thought that was the kind of optimistic spirit we're trying to encourage around here.
Correct. Right. Like from what I've seen, what we did in Sacramento, there's a lot of when things go wrong.
Hey, life comes at you fast sometimes.
Yeah, as fast as a Borg says,
Sometimes,
I hear.
sometimes you're able to get out of the way, and sometimes not. But
And sometimes you're limping for months from a grenade at your foot, huh?
yeah, a little sometimes, all the time. 30% of the time it works 100% of the time, something like that. Anyway, no, I think this is gonna go fine. We're gonna be able to we can totally find a working solution here. We can come up with something that's gonna be beneficial for everybody involved until we can't, and then we'll figure it out from there.
No plan survives first contact with the enemy, right?
Yeah,
We just don't know which one's the enemy yet.
there's that. They may not know which one's the enemy yet, so
Yeah. All right.
maybe there isn't one.
Off
We're
to
fine.
the city.
We can do this.
See, that's the thing. I think some of us can do this. I have concerns on if all of us can do this.
It's okay. We're family. We'll get through this.
You raise a good point. I'll let you finish up and I'll go get ready.
Yeah. I think he'll shout for Squeaks and make her go do some random task about make sure all the eggs go back in the cooler and
All that good stuff.
yeah, like he's like, oh yeah, I've got something to do. I've got to yell at Squeaks to do things.
So, well, folks, we are going to take a quick break at this point. I need to take about a 15-minute break to do some family stuff. And so we will be back. It's almost 20 past the hour now, so that'll put us at 35 past the hour. Is that right? If I can do math right? I think so. So in the meantime, everybody who's watching, our little fun actual play here is sponsored by Legend Keeper, which is a world building tool, a campaign planning tool, something that we all know and love here at High Shelf Gaming. We use it for all of our games. I have shared it with many people who want to find it as possible. And so we'll be giving away a beta key to it tonight. I'm going to turn on the little giveaway machine right now. So to enter to win, all you have to do is put ! Legend Keeper in the chat, and the little bot has just put that in there. It's ! Legend Keeper, all one word. Toss that into the chat. That'll enter you into win. When we get back from the break, we'll give away a beta key. And that will get you access to Legend Keeper. You can upload your maps of your world or your game. And then inside that map, you can put all these little pins, which can also represent other maps into cities or buildings or nets if you're doing a Cyberpunk game. And then, you have wiki articles about all the NPCs and about all the factions. And in this game, we use all of our player notes, right? So all the players write up stories about what their characters did and their thoughts of every session, which is really helpful to me. And then it'll auto link all those stuff so that if I reference an NPC or I reference a certain faction, it'll auto link and then I can pull up the article about that faction while it's running. Really awesome program. So we're going to be giving away beta access to that while we are on our break. Guys, we'll be back in 15 minutes. So sit tight and we will see you shortly. All right, we're back. Hey, everybody. So, we left off. You're all getting a face full of sand and dirt. At least those of you in the yard here. Dexy and Vi just kind of shut the door, and it's all cool in the gang. But all you out here, you know, jet fuel and sandblasted, and then it's gone. Right? It's out of your hair.
Is there some glass from where there was like liftoff? It
Oh,
just got so
probably.
hot that there's just like bits of glass.
There probably is. Yeah, there's probably like obvious scorch mark where she landed and where she was taking off. There's like obvious scorch mark and probably like little flecks of glass in where the dirt got melted, the sand got melted. I don't know if you've ever seen glass made from fuel, but it is not good looking. It's like charred black and like real gritty and like it just doesn't. It looks like gosh, you know the like crystal sugar candy you can get at the fair. It's like the stick. It's got all the crystals on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you took one of the rock candy situation. You take one that's like black, right? And then you just go and like rub it in a bunch of dirt, and then you pull it up. There you go. That's exactly what that stuff looks like. It's just like really dirty, like dirty.
Look, you get your minerals.
Yeah.
You're helping build up your immune system. There,
And instead of it being
there are
sweet,
positives to this.
this thing is just straight up glass. It'll just cut up your inside, so don't eat it. But yeah, that's what it looks like where she took off, for sure.
We should get this case into one of the tents and catalog its contents immediately.
Yes. Oh,
I concur.
come on, Casey. Okay, we're having some camera issues over here, but it'll be all good.
I am sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Just my whole system just freaked out.
You okay?
Yeah, it should be fine now. I think I figured it out. So
All good. You all move the case inside, right? It's quick and easy to get it into the workshop. And it's a large crate. You know, it's team lift to get it moving, or put it on a forklift or something like that. Either way, you get it in there and pry open this this top. I mean, between all of the folks with various cybernetic arms, it doesn't take much to get this crate open. It is just a wooden crate with nailed down lids or sides, and you open it up, and inside, neatly arranged in boxes, looks like as you pull things out and start to inventory things, you have a set of 5 drones and a drone landing landing mat and a little recharge station where these drones run on electricity, and you've got a little drone control unit that will plug into a deck. It could also plug into a joystick and mouse and a camera feed kind of thing. But yeah, you've got a little kit here they're all the same kind of drone. They look like they're each 4 bladed drones. They're probably about 1.5 feet long, and they've got kind of a pill shape to them, where they're a little thicker in the middle, and you can see along the bottom are a couple of optics, a couple of lenses pointing front and back on this drone. Whereas the top is kind of a desert brown top. All the top of the drone is painted this kind of tan brown look, and all of the bottom of the drone is painted like a off gray kind of thing. Other than where the optics are. And so the drone looks rather simple in make and design, but the plastic on the outside looks real tough. They feel kind of heavy. Each of these 5 drones feels pretty heavy. And there's some assembly required to get these things put together. But each box is a self-contained unit. It's the body of the drone, it's the arms, it's the blades, it's the motors. All of that stuff you can assemble pretty quickly. It's intended for someone who's not a techie to be able to put these things together in the field, kind of thing. So it doesn't take you all any time at all to get this stuff assembled. If you want to assemble it now. But effectively what you've got is that you've got 5 drones, a landing pad that you can affix to something else, and then a charging station and a control station.
I this may not be important or need to be done right now, but I would definitely look for bugs or any kind of, and just, I know they said they swept it, but I'd still do it my own kind of once over for all of them.
We're giving them the full breakdown.
Yeah. You guys give me scanner for you, Oz, and then let's do electronic security for you, Ta. As you're both checking these things over. And I'm gonna say that this accounts for a couple hours worth of work. Okay, cool. So on the scanner front, these things don't have a network per se. The control box is really simple. It has like you plug your deck into it and safely connect to it a couple of times, just to make sure there's nothing funky going on in here, Oz. And as you go through this thing, it is a terminal where you can feed in a schedule and a circuit, a path you want the drones to fly, and there's a number of things you can set, like do you want constant video, or do you want it to only take snapshots at intervals or based on motion, right? Um, and then do you want the paths to be fixed or random by some kind of seed, right? Where you say you need to hit all these nav points, but I don't care about the order in which you hit all these nav points, that kind of thing. So you've got a couple of like really rudimentary things you can put in here, but it looks like once you get all that programmed and set up, this little base will, for the day, get all the drones to do their circuit and to just scan the area and come back with video feed. And they will also send back still images while they're in flight. And someone has to be there to move the drone off the pad to the charging station, and then get the next drone onto the pad. It seems like everything about these drones is centered on knowing where the pad is in the world, right? What are the coordinates of said pad? What are the navigation coordinates? And then it also is detecting like the windage, to tell the drones, hey, while you're in the air, the entire time you're going to be drifting at this speed, this direction, so account for that while you fly around, kind of thing. So yeah, it's like a little self-contained automated area awareness kit, is what you're seeing there, Oz. Ta, looking through the electronic security, these things are really, really involved. On the inside, they are, they've got great optics that can see in a number of different bands, not just the visual spectrum, but additionally, they're also scanning radio waves and ultraviolet rays and all those sorts of like data transmission things. And if they you anticipate that if they get close to, or they pick up some other signal, that there's a catch and an alert that they have found some signal from something else, kind of thing.
Okay.
You do see where these have been opened. The cases have been, the top shells have been pried apart by Meta before, and you can see there's some stuff missing. You can see where there was something connected to the control boards of these things that is no longer connected to them, and then it's all been resealed since then. You're not exactly sure what's been removed, but something has been removed from these things. And each of them, all 5 of them, have the same thing removed from them. That same, like, whatever that was that sat along the top of the canopy, that's all been removed out of each one of these. And it would have been like a foot long object that looped around in like a big U on the top side of these drones. You can see where the plastic had a channel for something to be laid into it, and that's all been taken out.
Okay. Would I have known if it's like, if that's going to affect performance? Like, maybe I don't know exactly what it does, but is there any kind of knowledge I can glean from it's missing? Like, at the end of the day, is it going to affect its flying or anything for us?
Right. Yeah. Because of the like distribution of that thing, your drones are probably a little less top heavy, but they're not
Okay.
messed up from a left-right balance perspective in any way
Okay,
that you're
cool.
aware. There's a handful of things that immediately, ping Ta on that of what it could have been, right? And could be anything from like satellite communications to some other antenna thing to like could be a serial number identifier piece that's been in there, some sort of RFID antenna on the drone. Or, could honestly be like another piece of equipment that Meta said, we're taking that. Some other piece of like processing power or some other like, piece of tech that was in these drones. That's really good. We want that piece. Just that piece, right? Looks like everything else in here is pretty well undisturbed.
Okay.
Sorry, my hands are dry. I'm sitting here with some lotion. Oh no, we lost Casey. Okay. I feel bad for Casey tonight. Guy can't get a break.
Can't get a break at home. Can't get a break on the road.
I got
Just
you, man.
constant internet issues.
You're good. You're good. Fortunately, this isn't the negotiations portion of the show, right?
Right. Oh.
So
What next? Where to?
I think we're doing the Ember job, right?
Who are we talking to and or shooting? Come on.
Let's hope not for the second. Actually, for either. We're just supposed to be watching.
Yes. We're just here as your friendly neighborhood eavesdroppers.
Right.
Friendly
Big siblings.
Trying to think of anything else that would Oz, as you're dealing with this scanner. No, I don't think there's anything else really like. I was trying to think of if like this base station or any of that kind of stuff would help with anything else. The crate itself was a petrochem crate. So they put it back in the original crate, the original packaging.
Right.
And there's probably on that crate you see like box 20 of 45 in like stenciled on the outside of it,
Right.
as part of some like prospecting project.
Okay.
Which unfortunately doesn't mean anything to Oz. But yeah, I mean these are just observational drones that are high end and relatively automated. That
How big is the kind of station to control it? Like, would it be easily handleable if, like, hey, let's go out on a hunting trip and take these things, or is it really going to require a whole bunch of other stuff?
once you get it programmed, if you don't like need to connect it to anything else, it's not too bad. It's like
Okay.
it's probably the size of a standard computer tower, right?
Okay.
So like I don't know, 2-ish feet tall and several inches wide, and it's got an antenna whip that you want to, or maybe a couple of antenna whips that you want to unfurl and get those stood up so that it can talk to the drones. But it's totally, you could put it in a backpack if you had to.
Cool. Okay.
Okay.
And you said that the mission was in a couple days, right?
Yeah, she
Or I
had.
mean, the meeting was in a couple
It was
days.
going to be
That's
in
what I
in a
thought.
day or so, and they're finalizing the location. Yeah, yeah. And if we want to do that now, we can just fast forward to that. If y'all want to do something else, we can do that instead.
I think that's the plan.
Do we want any kind of tech devices before we go out? Made.
Such as.
I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm trying to like. I remember I got a really good look at low tech. I remember like one of the things I was like, I'm going to study, everything about low tech. I'm just trying to think of would there be any sort of device I could make, or would it just be memory to be like, oh, this part is working, or this is the weak point, or something like that? Or like, he's preparing some sort of something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We decide. I'm sorry, my internet keeps cutting out. I didn't hear you guys.
It's okay. We have not made a decision yet, but I think we're leaning towards going to the Ember Meta meetup next.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you guys, kind of, go through all this stuff, get it all set up. If you're comfortable with it, the family could start using it now, even. And there's definitely people who want to, right? Like security would love to have an extra pair of eyes in the sky, because they fly up real high. They fly up so you can't hear them anymore, right? They don't have little annoying blinky lights or any of that kind of stuff. So they do a pretty good job of just going unnoticed up in the sky. So for the rest of the day, y'all could work on getting that set up, and the family would certainly love to have that up and operational.
I mean, that's probably Oz's priority for the foreseeable future is just getting this set up and ready to work and whatnot.
Okay.
No.
Good stuff.
Okay.
So you all are working on that. The next day, Lopez, she reaches out, and Gabrielle Lopez reaches out and says that the meet is set. Going to happen in the Watson development, which is where on the northern end of the Watson development is where a bunch of docks are, and that's where Ember and the Meta team are going to meet up to do whatever their dealings are. You don't really know the nature of that meet. And it's the five of you. You all get into a vehicle of some kind and head over to the safe house.
Okay.
And what they've got is they have a sea can that is up on risers with a little stairs going up to a door that's been cut into the sea can, and you can see it's got some communications equipment on top of it, and it's right there on the water. It's like, I don't know, 100 or so feet from the water's edge on a dock, right? And it's kind of around a bunch of other sea cans, just out here on the docks, just arrayed. And so visually, it's really kind of blocked from everything else in the city. This can is, so it can see the water and other cans around it where it's sitting, but it really can't see any other buildings or any of that kind of stuff. And there's a bunch of gaps between the other sea cans here. So like as you all are coming up, you could even drive up to this, mobile office, if you will, and but it's otherwise visually obscured from kind of everything else out here in the Watson district. We will go to the docks. And the docks are, I gotta hand it to this guy who makes this stuff. I'm gonna link him in chat just because he's so cool. This is the Lion Banner Games guy. I'm gonna toss him in chat real quick. He made the other map for the Warzone as well. He makes these really beautiful, colorful maps. And when y'all get into your container, or rather when you walk up to the container, Lopez is there, along with a couple other meta folk. And they're dressed in like out to sea, you tend to wear a lot of overalls. So they're dressed in like gray overalls that have embroidered on the left patch or on the left-hand side, a Meta Nation. And then there's some designation of her family and her designation, right, of her unit or her group. And then on her shoulders where like an officer or somebody in the Navy would have like little loops and all that kind of stuff. That's not present, but you do see 2 stripes over her shoulders, coming in over the shoulders. And the people that she's with, they don't have stripes on their shoulders at all. And they are all armed. They've got SMGs with them. They're slung and kind of dangling loosely at their hips. And she comes walking up to you guys with a smile on her face. Again, the black hair kind of pulled back, pulled back kind of behind the ears, kind of thing, and comes up to greet you all. Midnight Runners, good to see all of you. Thanks for meeting us out here on the docks.
You're welcome, ma'am. Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you. All right, well, this is going to be your station for the day, I suppose. And we should, kind of be able to monitor everything from here. And
Okay.
You all just kind of come in, make yourselves comfortable. We've got a couple of the folks here. She introduces them. These are my assistants for the day. If there's anything you need, Frederick is relatively technical and can help you with any questions you may have. But this is kind of your office for the day. While this whole meet goes down, we should be ready to go live in about an hour. Is when everything's scheduled to happen.
Awesome. Cool.
Dr. Vi, Dexy, good to see you both. And you two, I haven't met you yet.
Oz, the great and powerful.
Great power. Okay, good. Okay. Good to meet you all. And Gabby looks very different without her suit on, obviously. It's clearly the same woman as before. And she's in military style boots and her little like gray overalls. And looks professional, like she's got some stuff to do today. She's got kind of a task list ahead of her, but is definitely like, you have her time. You have her attention for this window. And she says,
I feel obligated as she's like talking to everybody and introducing herself to do like. She seemed like she's on the up and up. Is there something there that like seems like she's
Same. I was about to ask. Was
here? Get into this metal box. She'll just hang out in here, and it's totally safe, guys.
yeah, right, exactly.
Have a good one.
So yeah, I mean, she's relaxed. She's as unconcerned as possible, right? If y'all want to do perception checks, that'd be kind of appropriate here. And then
perception or human perception?
Well, I guess the two of you focusing on her do human perception, and then everybody else can do perception. Okay, cool. Yeah, so 18 and 19 for human perception from Katrina and Dexy, or Violet and Dexy. You guys, she is very relaxed at this point. This is her little show here. She's arranged all of this stuff. The fact that you're here is clearly making her happy, right? There's probably someone somewhere that she is looking good in front of now that her contact has shown up, right? She gave some gift to these nomads that they don't really have a formal relationship with, and look, they showed up. All right, good. That was a worthwhile thing for her to do, and you can see that she's happy that you're here.
10 points for Gabby.
Right, exactly. So there is some of that, like, she is happy that her instincts are paying out so far, right? You can kind of read that in her. And you don't sense that there's any kind of like, you don't sense that she is like lowering you into some kind of mousetrap, right? There's no like, she's not like glancing over at something pointed or purposely avoiding looking at something, right? There's none of that kind of tension or stiffness that you're seeing from her.
Oh, there never is.
Yeah, right. Because Ta, with the 18, you see out on the water their boat, the SSS SSM painted horse is a probably a 180-foot long boat. Looks like it's been painted to be kind of gray with these like black stripes, these black angled stripes going down it, and which kind of breaks up its shape a little bit. But it's way out there on the water, and seems to be just doing a lazy patrol out there. And so yeah, you spot her ride out there, doing its thing, and it looks like it's. I don't want to make it sound like it's a military vessel because it's not like the Navy's boat. It's like it's like a gosh, it would look
Like
on.
one of those,
Go ahead.
like one of those kind of like Coast Guard vessels that like have things like ready to go in case
Yeah,
something
it's a
happens.
lot more like a Coast Guard vessel. Like you can see on the back, there's a flat pad for like a helicopter pad or something like that. You can see it has a conning tower, um, kind of towards the front to make room for the pad in the back, and that uh, it has like probably a crane on it hanging up off, up above the hull line of the ship,
Hmm.
and a bunch of antennas and stuff hanging off the top of that thing.
Okay. I don't know if I'd say anything quite yet.
Sure.
But yeah.
Sure.
Can we see what we're working with inside, please?
Oh yeah. Frederick will take you. And he kind of looks at you all and says, "Yeah, come on this way. I'll show you around." And he, walks up the steps into this big metal box, and it's a 40-foot long container with 8 feet wide, 8 feet tall, 40 feet long, right? So a standard sea can. And when you come in, you're seeing a couple of monitors that have been hung up, and immediately you're seeing this scene. You're seeing what looks to be an overhead drone shot on this portion of the docks. And you're also seeing what looked like to be not quite gun cams, but like body cams on two people in a room. And this building right here is getting a designator on the drone, like a little arrow pointing to it, like this is the spot kind of thing. And this looks to be some kind of equipment warehouse or processing facility right here on the docks. It's empty. There's two people in here, presumably of Meta, that are wearing the body cams, and then you can see off those cams, you can see another four people that are armed, and they're in body armor, and are that you can kind of see they've taken up some basic defensive positions in the room. Not like they're prepping for siege, but like I want to be near cover, right? So one of them is by like a big thick support beam. Another one is by the door. Another one is by a big set of crates. Just like general. Hey, we're gonna meet some people in this room. We really don't want to be caught with our tails, with our pants down. So everybody just be near some cover, right? Someone control the door, right? That kind of stuff is what you see going on.
So is there a list like headphones to listen?
Yeah. So there's a couple of little like tables sitting out, and you can see some headphones and even speakers on the wall. So Frederick kind of shows you around and says, "Okay, so if you want to listen to the body cams, you pick the one you want to listen to. Just on your headphone here, here's the dial. You change which one you want to listen to. If you want to put anything to the speakers, just hit this button here and select which source you want to put up onto the speakers." And then he's like, "So you can hear from the two body cams, you can hear what's going on in the room, and then this sweet little bird in the air, it actually has some directional bits, and he takes you over to a joystick. And he's like, I don't know if you can see, but there's like a little crosshair on the ground here, and he kind of points at it. He's like, you move that joystick, and it's got a microphone. You kind of point to where you want it to listen, and it'll listen to that spot. It just has the
Nice.
one, but you just kind of tell it where you want it to listen, and you can listen to whatever the drone can pick up from that direction.
So the crew would know, and maybe they talked about it on the way over here, but like, this is Vi's shit, y'all. Like, she's kind of trained to like hear auditory and see ticks and shit. So this is kind of what she's looking for and looking to be able to do is have clear sight on, I guess, the whole group, and then be able to tell or hear what is going on. I also have the voice stress analyzer as well, so that would be something that I would use throughout this.
Perfect.
But for the group, like Vi is checking for things that so she'd be able to most efficient at her job.
Okay.
Vi, go ahead and give me whatever would be the best for you to do a diagnostic of someone while you're sitting here, kind of just watching the meta crew while they stick around. I don't know if that's like a. It's not like you're trying to diagnose a life-saving thing. You're just watching the crew as they're standing there.
Yeah, I think my human perception is probably about as equal as.
It would be a
Only other thing that
medical thing that you're looking at right here. So
Okay.
get.
It would either be my special ability or first aid, probably. Those are my two.
Okay. Let's do. Can you do your special ability for me? Plus.
Yes. 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
And while Vi's doing that, Ta would be similar in looking for any sort of like tech abnormalities of like if maybe something interesting is beeping on the radar, but we can't see it, of like maybe some kind of camouflage tech, or maybe a Borg thing is starting up, things like that, where it's like tech-based interests.
Yeah, so
It
you're
would
kind of
probably.
using this and scanning around, right? This
Mm-hmm.
outside and the inside stuff. You're looking at these sorts of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect.
Would paramedic work better, Div?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Ooh.
Okay. So that's still a
13.
13, which is a technical success in this space. So good on you for being well skilled in your thing, because a 13 is a standard success in Cyberpunk.
Hey.
So yeah, I'm not going to say that you know like what's wrong, but you notice that one of the guards has like some kind of medical problem. Like maybe they're like, you can see them like kind of clenching and releasing their left hand a little bit. You know, just a little, an odd behavior that's like there's something wrong with that guy, like medically wrong with that guy. Probably not something that like it's probably something that they've been coping with for a long time. But just as a doctor looking at someone who's just idly by, you see them like really tightly clenching their fist and releasing it a little bit. And it's not like a stress thing. It's some sort of medical conditions going on with that, with one of the guards.
Okay. While the others are kind of setting up and I'm just checking out this equipment, can I keep an eye on that?
Mhm.
And maybe just take a little bit to kind of diagnose what that is?
Yep, you bet, and so you get to work on that. And Ta, give me. I don't know what to do with that. Because I feel like you're going to be doing perception.
Okay.
Yeah, so let's do perception.
Since it's looking for tech, should I add in the tech bonus or just flat perception?
That's a good question.
I'm good for either way.
Yeah, I think let's do straight perception.
Okay.
Maybe give yourself like a +2, because you're looking for like it sounds like what you're looking for is straight up like oh like if there's people walking out here, you're not going to give them any attention. You're going to look for
Yeah.
like something else that
Yeah.
is that's going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I could do that.
Okay. 21. Good stuff. So on a 21, you notice while everybody's still getting set up, you notice I'm just going to draw it out here, freehand style. We'll do it like little. Ooh, red's a bad color because of the object it's on. We're gonna do this like blue shape here. Okay, so you notice out on this crane a little blue distortion here. It's like at first you thought it was like exhaust from the drone, right? But then,
Mm-hmm.
as you're watching this scene, there the distortion remains even though everything around it stays flat, stays neutral.
Mm.
And you, so yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, this guy crops up on the scene, and he's standing kind of towards the back of this this container, and you see a walker, a little droid walker, kind of come up with him, and then make its way over to the building.
Okay.
And in here with you is Frederick, the guy from Meta. And he's like looking at that thing, going, "Hello, what are you?" kind of thing. And you watch as he radios to Gabby.
About the walker.
Yeah. He says, "Hey,
Okay.
just so y'all know, this guy showed up in some cool looking shades, and he's got this like bot thing that's walking towards the building right now." And he gives a rough description of its like size and demeanor and that kind of thing.
And as he's like maybe just getting off the radio, he's gonna Ta's gonna point to the weird kind of abnormality on the crane, and just kind of gauge his reaction to be like, "Is this you, or is this something weird going on?"
Oh, that's not us. Good to know. Okay, so he feeds
Does,
that as well.
I would ask Frederick, does your bot have infrared?
Yeah. And you flip over to infrared, and you see another one of these drone shaped looking things back behind this canister here.
Mm.
You see the outline of it, of like the heat coming off of it.
All right. Did we get any heat from that thing that Tal pointed out?
Nope, no heat.
No heat at all.
Yeah,
That's interesting.
which
Right.
can be explained by like a blanket, to be completely clear, right?
Okay.
If you're not getting any thermal off of a thing like a human body, they could just be wearing a blanket, right? And or if there is any heat, it's like dissipated out from underneath that blanket kind of thing, and not as obvious as a big human laying out on something.
I would tell Frederick, I was like, Ember does have a high level of paranoia. This might be just a security team for her.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. I think then that means that the crew needs to own another door. And you see the folks that are watching this group inside, um, Dr. Vi and Dexy and crew, you watch as the security team puts hands on another door in the same warehouse that does not lead out this way. Right?
Gotcha.
And you watch as they methodically shift their stance to own the other end of the building, basically. And yeah. So, and then you watch as this bot, like, makes its way by doing like hook movements up to the roof of this structure, and it gets up there.
This is safe. I'm happy with what's going on.
Yeah.
As I think everyone here knows, I love to roll a good deduction every once in a while.
Sure.
Just every once in a while, though.
Just not every episode, just every once in a while. Would it be possible to roll a deduction to see if I can figure out maybe what this thing is, or at least eliminate what it couldn't be?
Yeah, go ahead and do a deduction for me, sir. Okay. Yeah, standard success. And actually, tactics would apply here as well, if anybody wants to roll tactics.
I'll roll tactics.
So, your deduction, Ta, because these things are trying to hide, right? Like this guy right here is stealthing. If this is a person or whatever that's also stealthing, then odds are that these are at the very least soft targets, right? That they want to remain hidden as much as possible. And one of the things you could discern from that is that, one, they want to be a surprise, which makes perfect sense. But two, if they were to take fire, they may not take very much before they're disabled, right?
Okay.
So like folks that are tough tend to not care about stealth, right? Because they can take the hits, and they want you to expose yourself by shooting at them, right? Whereas things that are stealth, they want to not be seen in the start of the fight. So odds are anything that's going to great lengths to be hidden is a softer target.
Okay. I won't say anything quite yet, but okay. Good to know.
Awesome. Oh, good tactics rolls here, guys. So Casey with the 16, solid success. Oz with the crit. Okay. So what you guys are seeing here is this does not strike you as like a hit team, because they're not like all stacked up with a lot of focused fire in one specific location. These folks are spreading out. They're getting the lay of the land. Like this droid up here is not even looking back behind it. It's pointedly scanning the rest of this roof. And it looks like its job is to be up here, aware of what's going on the roof. And these other pieces that are at play up here, they all look to be doing kind of scanning in their own field of view, and not necessarily everybody focused on a door or on a person, right? And because they're so kind of focused on various areas, it strikes you as a defensive measure, less so an attack measure.
All right.
Is what you're getting out of that.
Oz mentioned it looks like an Overwatch team rather than a strike team. And then I think Oz is going to turn from paying attention to what's going on the screen and what everyone else is doing, and his focus is going to be on making sure nothing bad is going to happen to us. Like it's time for him to he might move towards the front of the trailer and like keep watch outside there and that kind of thing. I think that's going to be his role at this point in time. He's also going to constantly scan for updated pings if anybody comes close, Netrunner style. So if anything comes in close, he wants to keep an eye on that.
Okay, gotcha. So I'll presume kind of a running scan for Oz. Right. Probably like every couple of meat actions, he'll just run a quick scan to see is anything nearby. And like I described before, your office is kind of behind a bunch of containers. Do you want to be like out in front of those containers looking outside of your little bubble here? Or do you want to be just like kind of at your can, maybe just outside, looking around inside this kind of wall of containers?
Oz might actually jump up on top of this can.
Okay, perfect.
Just to give him a good bird's eye view of everything and keep an eye on it all.
Okay, cool. So while you're up here, you can see a little bit further out, right? You can see kind of over the tops of the 3 or 4 high cans that they've got out and around this yard area, and you can see some of the other buildings, and it looks like your target building is not terribly far away. You can kind of see this end of the dock is like, I don't know, 800 meters that way, kind of thing, like far enough away that like the gunshots are going to sound really quiet if there's any gunshots.
Right.
But like near enough that if Gabby needed to get there, she could, right? And she's down there. Her and the other tech fella, or not tech fella, but the other guy, they're down here in the yard. They're hanging out by like one of the cans, just kind of talking shop with each other, and not really like when she sees you come out and climb up, she gives you a bit of a wave, but otherwise they don't get in y'all's business.
All right.
Kind
I
of
just
thing.
give a polite nod and go about my business.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see. So I almost want to do almost one more scan, like one more perception to see if I see anything else.
Yeah, and so the drone can move around a little bit. It sees other parts of the building. Unfortunately, this is what I have to show the audience. So it goes down and kind of looks around the rest of the area. You see that when you get back, he has moved back behind this can, and you can see there is a third bot. It's off camera, but it's on the northern end of this whole show.
Gotcha.
So it's like off screen up that way, kind of thing.
The thing that I would like to scan for, David, is any heavy trucks or anything assault based or anything like that. I would like to scan to see if there's anything that would resemble like my gambler or the armored truck or personnel carrier or anything like that that's not too far away.
Right. Good question. So you're looking around. You know, there's no like big heavy trucks or armored trucks or anything like that that are just like sitting out. But I'm gonna say like 2 buildings away, you do see like through the IR vision, through the heat signature vision, or the FLIR cam, you do see that like there is one of the buildings is like by a garage entrance. There's some heat emanating from that garage entrance. Like there's an engine running over just inside of a garage, 2 buildings away, kind of thing.
All right, I would give that to Frederick. It looks like kind of like with our tactics scan. I would be like, it looks like Gauze and I was saying, this is a bug out team. It does look like they have a vehicle for potential if things go loud, which again is kind of going with what Ember deals with. If you come with business and don't act a fool, I think business will be conducted. But
yeah, Frederick zeroes on this guy. He says, "Have you ever seen this guy before?"
I have not.
Okay. He's like looking at like he has the drone zoom in a bunch on the armor and all that kind of stuff, and has it like store some photos and that kind of stuff. Right? He's really keenly interested in who this person is.
What do I have to try to identify like his armor and stuff? Would that be a weapons tech?
Cyber tech, frankly.
Cyber tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. Weapons tech would be good because he's got like outer armor. So yeah, go ahead and give me a weapons tech to see if you can identify the maker of his armor. And then if anybody wants to do a cyber tech to try and identify what kind of cybernetics he's got.
I got terrible tech.
Yeah,
I'll get some. I'll throw some tech.
It looks like a standard issue light armor jacket, Cool. 21 from Krat. Or Dr. Vi.
You said Cybertech?
Yep. 28 from Todd. Okay, cool. Yeah, those are monster rolls, guys. So this guy, he's got kind of a mishmash of different manufacturers on him, but most importantly, his like sunglasses, those aren't sunglasses. Those are his new eyes. That is like grafted on vision, and you can see that like back behind his ear are a number of skill softs. Like he's got processing type chips or skilled based chips or something plugged in just behind his ear. And you can see that like interwoven in his hair is like actually an antenna whip that kind of follows with his hair and extends kind of towards the back of his head. And this guy is wired up for comms. He's visually wired up in some way, like he's swapped out his eyes for this visual setup that is made to appear like glasses, but is obviously not. It's all part of him, part of of his body now.
Would we be able to know, just because of how wired up he is, that if we take him out, the drones would go out as well, or is that not necessarily the case?
You would presume it's fair enough to presume that this guy is probably talking with the drones.
Okay.
Right. Especially with like the arrival of him and one of the drones. It stands to reason that he's in the very least communicating with them. Right.
Okay.
Kind of like the Cyber Bear back in the day.
Okay. Yeah.
You know.
Shiver from Todd. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Good old Cyber Bear.
Good old Cyber Bear. Yeah. So, eventually, Ember shows.
The star of the show.
Yeah, Ember arrives. Let's pull out Ember real quick. Put her on the board. Oh, I kind of wanted her to show up as a token. Oh, okay. Well, I guess she's a handout. That's too bad. Oh, you know what? I think I've got her as just a standard image. Down here somewhere. Back in Chapter 1 land. Here it is. Our avatar's all squished. 1 second. So, Ember shows up. And she comes from the north, kind of behind this can here, has a quick discussion with this gentleman, and then makes her way into the building, from an entrance point over here, right? And she goes in alone, but you can see her in her full decked out chrome body. She's wearing like a red duster, like a red leather duster that goes down to her, like, I don't know, probably like just above her ankles kind of thing, and some black combat boots as she walks into this warehouse. And you see everybody inside. The meta team knew that she was coming. They all kind of like got set up basically. And you watch as she comes in and kind of looks around the room real quick and greets one of the people in the room, probably a guy named O'Keefe, right? Says, "O'Keefe, it's good to see you in person." O'Keefe's like, "Ember, same to you. Hope you don't mind. I brought some friends. I wasn't really sure, I hope this is all good." She kind of looks around and says, "That's all fine with me. I have friends too. They just don't happen to be in here right now." Okay, all right. And she comes in a little bit further into the room. And you can watch on the body cams. One of the people with the body cam is O'Keefe. And he steps forward. And, her and O'Keefe are in this warehouse. They strike up a rapport, kind of do some basic stuff. Just some like, how's the weather type stuff. I mean, they start off real surface level and work their way down, right? And you see Ember, she's amicable enough. She kind of allows O'Keefe to lead this portion of the conversation, and finally O'Keefe gets down into, you know, the. I want to apologize to you. When we first knew that we're meeting with you, we frankly didn't know much about you, and so did a little digging, and I have 2 things to show you. And I'm willing to trade with you one, and I'm going to keep the other. And she kind of looks at him a little funny. He's like, why not sell me both? Says, because I think that one thing you might actually kind of need, and the other you'd probably just want. And I'm really curious which one of those is which. And she kind of looks at him and says, I'm not here to play games, O'Keefe. I understand that you have something that you think I want to buy. I want to see it. And if it's something that I need, I'm willing to buy it right here, right now. And if it's 2 things I need, well, I'm going to want them both. So, okay. Well, we'll see. And he goes over to this crate that's been in this room the whole time, and he pulls it open. He's got just a strong arm, just pulls off the top, and slides it over, and you can see through the body cam. You can see her expression here as she kind of regards this, and it's like this black lozenge that's 6 feet long, 6.5 feet long, and he keys in some stuff, and it opens, and inside are a bunch of Militech Borg parts. There's not a person in them. It's just individual parts. And you see as Ember's expression has this kind of like aha expression, like this awareness. Like she had some understanding of what Meta was going to offer her, and this is checking some boxes. You can see her confirming some information, right? As they unveil this Borg piece. Up on the top, this bot up here, the face of it, or whatever you can call for the sensor equipment of it, is staring down into the building, right at where they're meeting. She goes, oh, well, this is. He goes, I think, Ember, this is what you want. She's, okay, I do want this. Well, what's the next thing? If you'll allow. And she kind of watches as his hand slowly moves into his jacket. And he produces a small box and hands it towards her and says, open it. Take a look. And she grabs this box, and it looks like an oversized jewelry box. Looks like an oversized, box for a ring or something like that. And she opens it up, and you can see her face kind of go slack a little bit as like visible shock is on her face. And then almost immediately it's gone. Almost immediately that look of shock is gone. It's like a micro expression that you two, with your human perception, you catch that micro expression and then it's gone. Probably O'Keefe didn't even catch it, kind of thing. Right? Go ahead, Vinton.
I was going to say, can I roll human perception or something to figure out if I might know what it was, or at least try to piece together what that would have been?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll be able to read her expression. If your human perception is good enough, you'll catch the expression.
Okay.
Do you want me
I
to
got it.
roll for it, or do I just have it?
I feel like you two, because your human perceptions are so high, and this is like what you're here to look for, you're gonna catch that brief moment. Because like, yeah, the 16's not good enough.
I didn't think so.
But she, again, she's Chrome, right? So like, you can tell that she has locked her face into a neutral expression at this point. And she regards him, and she says, "O'Keefe, are you fucking with me?" And he's like, "Look, I don't mean any disrespect, but Meta still has access to nanites. And my understanding is you need these. And that I may be able to move you off of a position. These could bring low tech." And as he's about to finish that sentence, the bot on the roof fires. And O'Keefe turns into fucking putty. And she stands back in shock, looking around. She's still holding the box. And all the people in the room have their guns up, and they're pointed at her. They're pointed at the roof. And she goes, "No, no, 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 no. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me." And she's like getting low and trying to get down as like this bot begins moving quickly across the roof as these guys inside hear it and begin firing.
I would.
Yep.
I would tell. What's his name? You want Ember out.
Frederick?
Yeah, I would tell Frederick's like, you tell your people you want Ember out.
Frederick looks around the room to see if you all agree.
Yes.
I would agree, yeah.
Okay. And he radios, he says, "Guys, Brain Trust says Ember lives." And you hear like loud over the comms, "Okay." Like, if you say so. As one of the guys in the room there, you hear through the body cam that's still kind of around, you hear one of the guys in the room shouted, "Okay." Right? As the folks in the room start lighting up the ceiling. And a few of the rounds catch the bot. And you watch as the bot like tries to make its way off the roof. And there's a lot of excitement as the security team moves forward, and the other person with a body cam runs up to Ember behind protection. You see these other bots begin moving, right? To close in on the... Actually, this one stays put. But you see this one up north start moving down towards the building. As the person runs up to Ember and says... and just looks at her straight in the face and says, "Do we have a deal?" Not even worrying about O'Keefe. Right? And Ember, like, for a brief second... Fuck, yes. Yes. We have a deal. You bastards.
About your high pressure sales tactics.
Yeah, I know, right? She's like,
Sacrifice one of your own.
"You bastard, you could have given me any kind of notice." So, this was, we're out this way. And Ember gets up and runs with this second person. As these meta security people are in here fighting with wherever this bot goes, right? And it moves off the wall and fires back into the room, killing another security guy. Yeah, go ahead.
Frederick, who is this other audio?
That's the other... it's O'Keefe's partner. It's another fixer of ours. Their name is Jane.
And then David, like that moment where she was like, "It's not me, it's not me," and then that last interlude that I just heard, that sound like
Yeah, the "it's not me, it's not me" was legit. What's weird though is she was still controlling her, like her face lockout was still on, right?
Yeah.
But it looks like when that other person was running off, she consciously turned it off. And looked like she was scared.
Okay.
In this situation, not really knowing what was going on, you know.
And that second audio is the other fix, or what you just told us. The
Yeah, that
do
was
we have a deal? That was Jane.
that was Jane. Yeah, running up.
Okay. If they're leaving, I think it is time for us to leave, unless we feel safer in this container.
I would honestly think we should stick around before when the firefight ends. This could get really, really bad, really, really loud.
I mean,
And
honestly,
Frederick had no idea who the dude out there was, right? Like
No, he
Yeah,
asked me if
we literally
Yeah.
said that this was these were all defensive people,
yeah.
even though we saw them.
yeah, Oz is looking around everywhere else. I mean, he doesn't know what's going on inside. He has no clue about that. But like he probably heard, shots fire over there. So
Yeah, it's like that distant like tack 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 tack. You know, like
so he's like,
it's real
something,
distant, but you know there's a firefight going on.
yeah, something happened. So now he's on. Is anything coming close?
So while you're watching and listening, Gabby goes into the shipping container that she was next to. And the other guy has his gun on his SMG, and he kind of glances at you, but is looking out as he's like basically guarding the entrance to this shipping container, while Gabby's inside getting dressed.
Right.
Can we say that O'Keefe's camera fell to the ground and is just on him? Just
Yeah, it's
dead body. Look, like the camera is frozen, like there.
yeah, it's motion. The camera is not moving. It is still capturing like image of the top of the building, right? You can see where the hole is in the ceiling. You can see where there are other holes, smaller holes, leaving the ceiling. And yeah, you can still hear the gunfire. The microphone on this thing is not directional, so you just hear gunfire. You have no sense of where it is. And then you hear like one of those big shots from the droid again. But yeah, it's there.
Frederick.
Watching this. I'm sorry. Was there more for you, Katrina?
No, I was just getting the visual imagery that it was like half of O'Keefe's like faces.
Oh yeah.
Our body is still in view while we have no control over it. So
Yeah,
it's just there.
for sure. Yeah.
Frederick, does that drone have any defensive or offensive capability?
No. But the tactical team is aware of everything that's on
No.
screen. What's up?
Well, I mean, it may not be carrying any weapons, but a quadcopter to the face.
Whoops. I think Casey. I think you had a momentary blip. Is
Yeah.
that right? Okay. Yeah. Frederick says there's no.
Yeah, a little blip.
There's no offensive capabilities on the drone, but our tactical team is watching the feed.
Okay. Do you have a sniper? Because you might want to eliminate that target up there at the crane.
Copy. Yeah, he'll be addressed.
Awesome. Also, remember you have that vehicle that could be at this point, I would say an offensive team for asset recovery. This is now an asset recovery for whatever's going on.
Yep, noted. He kind of looks around and says, I kind of feel like this part of the operation is done. There's going to be some cleanup coming up. I'd hate to ask, but I need to ask you all to leave.
Don't have to ask us twice.
No problem. I'll take my team out of
Yeah, okay.
Let's ride, guys.
Were we supposed to be getting them to pay the check or anything here when we leave, or we just hear out of the goodness of our hearts?
Right. Yeah, no. Frederick says, chat with Gabby on your way out.
Right.
Will do.
I'll just
quick
push
out of question.
Dexy that way.
Quick out of character. Are the things like the Militech box or like the jewelry box still in that shot up bloody room? Or
Yep.
okay.
Oh God, Todd. Oh God, Gavin.
No. That's not what Tal's about. That's what I just want to know. Gavin wants to know where, if they like moved it with them or something.
So something that I was going to send to all of us after whatever before I agreed that we need to go, but I just thought that the entire time. So the question that she sends to you, everyone's like, they're dealing in nanites potentially. That's
That's
what
an interesting.
Sounds like
Mhm.
it. Yeah.
that's what O'Keefe was showing Ember.
That could fix a lot of problems. I'm not a techie, but I've heard my rumors.
Would I
Yeah.
know anything special about Militech
S-
nanites?
so
Same.
yeah, so both of you would know that nanites in a medical application can fix all kinds of problems, including dementia.
Hmm.
Organ failure, cleaning out the blood of toxins. You know, if you get the right nanites for the right thing, they will go in and scrub whatever you need scrubbed. You want to live to 150? You'll need a big bunch of nanites to go through and clean up your cells and remove all the things blocking their protein receptors and all that junk. But nanites can do it. Just depends on how they're configured and which one she's holding in her hand.
We should certainly be on our guard the next time we talk to Ember. We may have told someone that she's dealing with that she needs desperately these nanites. That may not have been information anyone else had but us.
That's why it says save her. That's our bargaining chip.
Her bargaining chip with who?
Ourselves.
Ourselves.
Y'all are leaving, right? Y'all are getting out of
Just-
the scene. Yeah, yeah.
Just
So
as we're
so
leaving.
so Dexy, you run over to the container where Gabby is. You're like, so money, right?
Yeah, Dexy's like, here, let me help you put this shoulder armor while I ask you about, like,
Yeah, she's like climbing inside of her big suit, right? And this one's not a flying suit. This one looks like the wings were left home. But yeah, she's climbing inside this suit and she's like mostly done. And she's like, Dexy, I trust that Frederick told you that services are, you did a good job for us.
Yeah, no, we're happy to have helped out. We just wanted to, like, wrap up with, payment and stuff like that, and then we'll get the hell out of the way.
Right, payment. Do you want? Oh man. Well, here. She goes over to a data pad and walks over to you. She's like, I have two options for you. I can either pay you and your crew, what is it? For like auxiliary observational services like this, probably like a couple of grand. So call it $4,000. She's like, I can give the crew $4,000, or if y'all want to go in there, I can give you part of that Borg suit. It's a little hot right now, but
I feel like
Am
that's
I in the
punching a
clear?
little above our weight right now. Like, that's
$4,000 it is. She hands over the new yen.
about that. Um, So Dexy, being a fixer,
Yeah.
has the ability to strike a deal
Yes, please do.
when haggling with a person. Um, so do you want me to roll
Please
that
do.
before
Yeah. Yeah. It's like now,
what it actually does? It's like,
now, Gabby. I know you're about to go off and go get to busy killing a bunch of people, but before you do, just remember.
okay, so this is all right, plus 5 on top of this. Where'd that go?
Trading 23.
28.
28. Oh my god. Oh
It's
yeah,
it's
because you're
haggling is
yeah.
cool plus trading plus operator rank.
Okay, cool.
Versus cool plus trading plus their operator rank if they have one.
Yeah, and
Fixers are fucking overrated.
yeah, that is so solid. So what is the out of 28? Where does that land you? Which band does that land you in?
It's the 28 versus her roll to figure out
Oh,
if I
gotcha.
haggle her up or not.
Gotcha. Yeah, she is kind of a fixer. Okay. Yeah, you get another um
So on success, it says that's an additional 20% pay per person on the job.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would have been 4 grand for 5 people becomes what is it? That would have been like
More than that, we can do math. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So you've won that haggle. And she's like, fine, 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 fine. And she like punches in the numbers to give you more cash. Um and she says, Dexy, it's been great working with you, but in all due respect, I've got to go.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
If I mathed right, it's
Snap
a
it in
K.
the last things on the back, and like,
Yeah.
ding, ding, pop it on the back.
Yeah.
And
she
I think that's
the ground shakes as she runs off.
9.6K, but we'll figure it out.
Okay. Beautiful. I love the haggle skill. Haggling under fire. I love it. And Mr. Cade here is in for a big surprise. I love it.
Out of nowhere, there's just a crippling, crushing feeling in Ton. He just doesn't know why.
Yeah, he's like,
Just like,
why does this hurt?
Wow, this feels terrible.
Why does this
What's
hurt?
going on?
I was just kind of like climbing down. From the top. It's like I feel a great disturbance in the force. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
When we all get in the car, I'll be like,
millions of voices cried out in anguish.
when we get in the car, I would like to be like, when we get back to camp, Doc and Dex, I want to talk to you.
Oh, I broke out. What was up?
I was gonna say when we get back to camp, Vin's gonna be like, I would like to talk to you, Doc and Dexy.
Okay. On the ride back, Dave, I want to replay. I want to replay the conversation between O'Keefe and Ember.
Okay.
Especially about because I have the voice stress thing and all the audio shit, and think I recorded it.
Yep.
Which is going to be great later when I want to get the snuff film of this dude dying.
There's the real payoff.
Really,
I mean,
we're
brain
going to
dance,
get
but-
so much for that.
Yeah.
I want to listen over and over again to I have something that you want and something that you need.
Yeah.
And I want to what I want to do in the end is see what he thinks he has, like what if any way that I can figure out this is somehow getting back to us. Like I just want to keep digging into it.
Gotcha. So what as you were analyzing that moment when O'Keefe clearly felt like he had her by the nuts. He's like, I got your card. I know exactly what you need. And you're going to give up a whole lot to get more of this from us. Right? Like that was him playing the power card, right? And he like felt strongly that he had a winner. He was delivering it like he had a winner. And he knew enough to know that she would give up a whole lot to make that deal happen, right? And so
Right.
that was coming from like a place of like real confidence that he had figured her out. It's not immediately obvious where he got that information from.
Right. But if we go back a little, he said in that conversation, you know what he said on one,
Mhm.
but like, I apologize. I talked to people or I got information on you before this.
Right. Yeah, and he didn't mention you all.
No, he didn't. It's just very coincidental that the information that they
Right. Yeah, and it stands to reason that that what is it? That he came in there with a lot of confidence. So maybe you all were confirming something, or maybe you all gave information that they then later were able to confirm, or something along those lines. But with the confidence by which he delivered that, that's not something that you deliver because one person told you,
Okay, cool.
right? That's something that you would like, unless he's just a really good sales guy, right? And some sales guys are like that. They're like, I heard this on a rumor. I'm gonna sell the shit out of this, and go all the way to the bank on that rumor, right? And if I'm wrong, then I'll just eat crow on that one, right? But you kind of got the impression that this guy had so much confidence that it's tough to speculate that he got all that on one source. Cool.
Oh. That's all the Vinton's doing while he's driving back. Like, this just keeps getting more and more complicated by the day.
I think like the entire time back, like Vi's head is just eyes are closed and she's just like working through this.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Todd's gonna try to, because I don't have any sort of recordings in my head, but figure out what those bots were and kind of catalog them in his brain for the future.
Yeah, Ta has never seen those bots before, ever.
Yeah.
That's new.
Ooh.
That is clearly designed, clearly manufactured, because they were all three looked the same. They had slightly different functions, different like attachments to them, but they're all clearly the same chassis.
Has Oz seen anything like that from Spud?
Dude. Smud is old school, man. Like they do it with their bare hands.
Right.
And with what is it? Oh god, payment options. they'll get you a debt is what they'll get you a debt and then they'll come through your knees, kind of thing.
By the way, David, my internet cut out. How much did we get paid total for that?
We had to do the math, but somebody was figuring around 9K something.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're still mapping that out right now.
Yeah.
I think it's 4.8K if it was 4 to start with, and then 20% on top of that.
Yeah. That sounds right.
It's a 20% increase, not 20% increase per person that was involved.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, like it's 20% for what each person would have taken out of it. So if you would have gotten 800 because it was 4,000 divided 5 ways, you get 800 times 1 times with 20%.
Gotcha.
Got it.
So yeah, math.
So 960 cred.
Yeah. So you got everybody a little pay bump there with that last second negotiation, which was solid. Which was good. You know, it's like I can sit here and negotiate with you for a while, but meanwhile your people are dying, so you really want to pay me right now. Make this whole problem go away.
Got places to go. We were here. You
Yeah.
got your job to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that was interesting.
Casey said that he wanted to talk to Dexy
Yeah.
and Vi.
Yeah.
All right, you two.
Where are we doing this?
It could be in the main meeting. It could be right after we get out of the car, wherever you would. He's walking towards the meeting room.
Dexy, you get a text.
Oh, good.
It's from Ember. It's from
Oh.
Ember, and it says we need to talk.
Gonna be fun having this conversation.
Let's hold that thought, Vinton.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, let's you guys sit there and say nothing. Okay. Pop this on speakerphone.
Okay.
You have to tell me twice.
But he will like just like hmm?
Mm-hmm. Ember answers before the first ring is done. She is in a quiet room. There's no echo or any of that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And she says, Dexy, Ember,
I noticed. Hi, how are you doing?
am I on speaker? Take me off a speaker.
Okay.
Dexy, I've got to know. Was it you?
Was it us? What?
The Midnight Runners know stuff about me that not everybody knows. Tell me right now, was it you or was it not?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Okay. I was in a meeting today, and the people I met with knew that my father was sick and that nanites would help him. The number of people who know that information about me, very small. And the Midnight Runners are on that list.
I get to tell her something that's a Dexy, because we have not had that conversation yet, is not a lie. I'm not even sure Dexy really fully knew the full ramifications of that conversation to begin with. It was like, look, I can tell you, cross my heart, needle in the eye, except, I mean, they bend when they hit the metal, but besides that point, Midnight Runners did not say anything about you or your father to anybody.
If I find out that you're lying to me now, you will not die. And you will wish that you had.
See, now I'm stuck in like I know too much. I can't unmetagame it. Oh my god. Like, no, because I so want it to be. It's like if I find out that if I find out that it was somebody from the Midnight Runners who said anything about you, I will personally make sure that they pay for what has happened.
You see that you do. Okay. I am going to give this some time. Hope that I find who said this. Hope that I find the person who gave up my father like this. This changes everything. And if I find that person and it's not the Midnight Runner, that thing I talked to you about earlier today, I'll give you a shot at it. But if I don't find someone else, Midnight Runners better not be there.
You know, I'll I don't have the great way to phrase it. But like Dex will like, I know when we say the word family, we're talked in a different context from when you do it. But, family is the most important thing. And I agree with that and say the same thing for you. So, I'm here and we're gonna get to the bottom of this if we have to escalate it through the entire tech support chain. And your satisfaction matters to us.
What the hell?
She hangs up.
Okay.
So we heard.
Dexy will keep going until he makes it sound like yes, I have totally talked her down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, and we look forward. Well, as soon as we have a resolution to your problem, we'll be in touch.
Mm.
Ben, did you want to say something? Just kidding.
No, so what did we hear Mike say or Dexy say?
You certainly heard Dexy's half of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how much of her voice you guys picked up.
Well, he said Ember, but
Right.
But what? Yeah. Fill us in on the other half of that conversation. I don't think I really want to know, but I feel I'm going to need to know. Also, I really hurt my back when I sunk down in my chair.
Oh no. Oh no.
But anyway.
Yeah, so Ember's not happy with whoever wound up telling them about Lotec.
I look directly at Vinton.
Is Vinton frozen?
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't tell if Casey's
Longing.
like really, really
7
chill
mile
or if
stare.
he's been locked up for a while. Yeah.
Really chill
Oh
right now.
no, he locked
Oh
up.
no!
Oh,
No!
No.
You can't just
when
log out
did
to
we
hide from
lose
this.
him? Yeah, you you can't hide from this.
Can't hide from the fury of Dexy.
I like Jago says, "Oh hey Vin, what's up?"
All right, so no, this is like the thing.
Oh god. Okay.
Okay, we're
That
just
name that
gonna
he's
let
coming
it
back.
restart.
Oh man. Okay.
Guys,
Having a windstorm and it's messing with their connection. Okay.
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
welcome back.
So
Just
how much of that
quick
did you get?
Yeah, where are you at?
I got the end of the phone call conversation, and then Katrina asking how much did we hear, and that's when my internet went out, which I was freaking out because I have a big decision here I'm gonna make.
So we went through all that. We could hear. We really couldn't hear. Him. And
I'm still
then,
here. Sorry.
I guess Mike said that someone told Lotec or told about Lotec, right?
hmm
And then Violet looked at Vinton.
Cool. This is what you're gonna do, Dexy. You're gonna tell her.
This is gonna be good. I like getting instructions.
This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna tell her it was me, and that the family has kicked me out, and that I'm heading up towards Sacramento. I have obviously put this family in too much danger.
Vinton.
Nope.
You know that saying you're going ain't gonna be enough for her.
Then I guess I gotta
Right.
duke it out.
Are you serious?
Look, if there's one thing I've learned in the last couple of months working, is that this family comes first. I'm not gonna have you guys fight a Borg. We don't have a solid enough ally in Meta or a solid enough ally anywhere else. Maybe Hitchens might come in with her mother, but I can't bank on that. The easiest way for the family to get clear is to put it on me and to excommunicate me, and then that's my problem.
Hold on. Hold on. Talk. Can you run and get Benny?
He just like quickly just like zooms off.
Oh wait.
Sure.
Oh well, then Oz is like, why in the hell would we drop you in favor of Ember?
It's not dropping us in favor of Ember, it's keeping the now.
Look, we're not deciding anything. We're not deciding anything until Benny gets here. So just
I'm back.
think on that for a moment. Well,
Here's
yeah,
Benny.
you're back, but did you
Poor
carry
Benny is like
on?
hobbling down the hall. Wait for me! Wait for me!
Our run yet like carrying Benny like in his arms like a baby.
Oh, that's kind of humiliating. I don't like that image at all.
Okay, so
Okay, fine. It's a fireman carries over the back. That's yeah.
it's fine. So
Yeah.
Vi puts her hand up. Benny, have a seat.
Right.
Dexy,
He kind of looks around. And is like, this looks serious. What's going on, guys?
Dexy,
Yeah.
tell Benny what Ember just told you.
Recap happens.
You catch Benny up.
Yeah.
Any, just out of curiosity, any pointed things you guys leave out?
I wouldn't let things be left out if I felt something was being left out.
Unless somebody else is gonna try to be like, to Dexy. Dexy's like family's family, and we.
And I'm just doing that as give you guys a chance to edit if there was ever anything you wanted to edit. Otherwise, I'll just assume that everything you all as players know, Benny now knows, right? Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, cool. It's like he kind of looks over at Vin and is like, "Wow, man. Okay." Looking at the group. All right, so are we leaving Night City, or what's going on here?
We could pit it against someone else. I'm always in favor of, hey, we didn't do it. X person did it. Throw them under the bus. Just
What
saying, we can
evidence
do
do
that.
we have?
Yeah.
She's gonna want evidence.
I'll make some. I'll just sit in my shack and make some.
Okay. Planting evidence. That's an option. Leaving Night City. That's an option. Fighting a Borg.
Not much of an option.
Not a great option. No, that's right,
Yeah.
Dexy. Not a great option. All right.
Me leaving and being basically the person she chases is an option, Benny.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna just chase and you're gonna get away. Is the
I'm
thing
not
there,
She's gonna
though.
use
expecting.
us to get to you.
This is
You know
where he
that, right?
drops the. He knows what he's doing. I'm not expecting to get away, Dexy. I'm expecting to give the family time to either get out now or to finish what needs to be done. We also got to remember we got Silas's problem. He's not going to leave until those people are dead.
Silas doesn't have the capability to leave even after a platoon is done. He has work to do, as do I.
And also, it's not like if you go away, we're just gonna be over here. She knows that you know us very well, and she's gonna use us against you.
Yeah, she's not gonna let us be like we excommunicated Vinton and he's gone.
She doesn't know
It's
her
gonna be
family's
like
work.
we cut him loose and here's the tracker on his location, or here's
Since
the
Silas.
I don't think Silas is gonna be enough.
Who says I'm going to fight back against Silas? You know how much trouble.
Silas isn't going to do that.
Vinton, what they're saying is, even if we give you up, first of all, we're not gonna kill you. That's dumb. We're not gonna do that. But two,
yeah, we're not gonna do that.
even if we did give you up, that doesn't mean that we're off the hook from her.
Yeah, whoever said that planting evidence, that was a good idea. I agree with that one.
Well,
Let's do that one.
Ty,
We let him
you gotta.
go. Yeah, right.
There's a thread there. I give you that one, Ty. I just gotta find. I don't know. I don't even know how to begin to do that. I'll leave that stuff up to you. But
We need to find out if Meta is gonna. They're the ones that can give the info away. They're the only ones that really know the answer on this one. So, are they gonna throw us under the bus? Are we more valuable to them than she is, or what? Because we were talking earlier about which side we were gonna back if we ended up having to pick a horse in this race. I, I and we were all basically on the meta side here. So um, it's right now it's just word of mouth as to who or what.
so
we
yeah,
do.
he asked, like, walk me back through that. So they knew that.
So they knew. Basically, they told her that they had what she needed and what she wanted, and they knew that she needed those nanites. And O'Keefe told her that he had talked to some people and they had given them information about her. From what Dexy was saying, there's very few people that know what we know about Ember.
And clearly Meta knows who told them all this stuff. Some of it sounds like came from us. But maybe more information came from somebody else. Do we know if she's flipped sides? Is she still with who she was with? Is she now with Meta? Has that come to light yet?
Last thing we said sounded like she's going to make a deal with them. So
I don't know if it's really flipping. I mean, they have nanites, Benny.
Yeah.
Like who?
Somebody shows up with the magic solution for your ongoing limp, you take the option.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, if I had a parent in that situation, I'd flip too, because that's the juice. Well, if she's with Meta now, who's with Arasaka? Right? You guys are saying that Ember is with Arasaka, right?
That's what it looks like. I have nothing concrete. It just seems like that. Little Asia, all of that.
Really good
It
check.
just there's a lot of smoke in that camp.
Right. Mm. Benny's working. You can see him thinking.
I can hear the gears turning.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Could Meta? All right. Meta has these nanites. She needs these nanites, right?
Yep.
Can Meta stop her, control her, keep her in line?
If we have
Yeah.
something enough to offer them for that much trouble to keep us protected.
I mean, obviously, if they're offering her these nanites, Meta wants something from her.
Yeah.
Is whatever they want from her worth? Do they want her more than they want us? I mean, is there any reason for them not to just give us up and say, she says, "Who told you that information?" and I'll do the deal. They go, "Oh, we got it from the Midnight Runner." I mean, what's to stop them from doing that? Do we know?
Meta has shown time and time again that they don't betray nomads.
Did you
Yet
tell them not
we're
to say anything?
that's in direct conflict with what is going on right now.
I mean, Meta's not stupid. They had to know that that was privileged information that they got there. That it's not something everybody knows. That it would come back to us eventually.
She's pushing on the thing that she probably thinks is weakest. If someone else has this information about her father, they're probably stronger than us. So if we confirmed or we gave information, whoever else has this definitely has more firepower than we do. Because she we've been back 10 minutes and she immediately called Dexy. Like they must have just gotten her to a safe room.
She has to know somebody. You know what? I don't want to be unfair. That's metagaming. Can I roll something to think that I have a callback?
Yeah.
To a certain somebody.
Yeah.
What would that be, David?
Either local expert or like
I'll do local expert.
Okay. Critical success, which is a 26. Pretty solid.
I have an idea who it is. Taw. Remember Spring?
Yep. Why? Oh.
Mm-hmm. She came back to bite us in the ass.
She didn't leave on very good terms with us.
Did Spring know that what's your name was that he had that her father had whatchamacallit?
Mm-hmm. She's in the room with me doing surgery.
Oh, okay.
Okay, more metagame questions then.
I wanna go Spring, but I don't want to waste our time either. So
There's a general lowdown on who Spring is and why that matters, and that
I'm sure it came up in conversation in Sacramento many times.
Yeah.
Do we like? Okay, out of character. Spring was in one of those like interlude sessions as like working for Ember now, right?
Right.
Like,
Hmm.
are we aware of that or?
No, that's one of the. So I'm
Cool.
sorry.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
sorry to give you all like player knowledge that your characters can't currently act on. Because that piece of information right now would be very helpful to your characters, and I feel bad as a GM making you parse that as players.
So, are you thinking
Tell you
that
what I will do, actually, with that local expert, Vinton. Oh no, Casey, you back?
he's
I
so
can do local
mad?
expert if he's.
I can tell.
This time,
Yeah, can tell. So Casey,
I'm sorry.
with that much local expert, I'm gonna say that not only do you recall that Spring was in that room and all that kind of stuff, but I'm gonna say that Vinton, you've gotten some kind of like rumor mill off the street. Maybe like who was the kid that was with y'all on that one mission
Oh,
that Ethan
Two-Bit?
that Ethan was playing?
Oh,
The
Zen.
Oh,
Zen, yeah, the mercenary that
Zen.
Zen. Maybe Zen, y'all reached out to Zen at some point, and Zen brought back like, yeah, man, things are great out here. Just so you know, Spring's rolling with Ember now, right? So with that kind of local expert of a 26 on your crit and all that kind of stuff, I want to say that maybe that's how we seed in just this like little tickle of information that Spring's hooked up with Ember.
So that would be a real hard sell for like if the person who sold you out is the person who's literally working for you now. Like,
I mean, it's the best option we have so far.
I'm not saying Dexy can't sell it, but that's
Yeah. What kind of conversation are those two having right now? Is what Benny asks.
yeah. I
From
think
what
Spring may try to pitch that conversation before we get the chance to.
From what I've heard, given Vinton's extreme dislike of this person, she's probably selling you all down the river. But that's just from what I've heard from Vinton.
I'm
I
here.
knew that was
Okay.
a loose end.
Where are we at?
Well,
Spring is probably selling us down the river to
Right.
Ember.
So, Casey, what I was saying earlier, because of your great local expert, I wanted to feed into the crew through your contact with Zen that Zen has heard that Spring is hanging out with Ember, and that's how y'all know what's up with that interlude call.
All right. Sorry about that stream.
No, dude, that's how it is, man. Internet sucks.
So, Tal, what you think you can cook up?
Guys, I don't know if lying more about this is the way to solve this. No offense, Vinton. I don't want to lose you and I don't want to sell you out. But can we work something else out? Can Dexy talk us through this? Can we pay her off in some way? Like making a bigger lie is the way to go.
I mean, we could just be like, "Oh, hey, Ember, hope it's going well. It was us. What can we do to pay you back?"
Sarcasm noted, Todd. Thank you.
Oh, so does that mean I shouldn't click send on this text? Because I was,
Vi just does one of these.
No, wait,
Yeah,
Vi. No.
She doesn't leave. She just puts her hands up and sits back.
Look, I agree with you, Vi. Making a bigger lie isn't a problem, but there's a huge axe to grind between me and her personally, and I can definitely see her getting the family involved because she knows that that's going to hurt me the most. And if she's being who I think she's being, and she was one of the people who worked on Ember's dad, she's going to be the confidant or as close to a confidant for Ember. So she needs to be dealt with. I would like to talk to. I would like to talk to Gomez. Not what's her name.
Oh, Gabby Lopez.
Yeah, I would like to talk to Lopez. And like Benny said, maybe we can get them to not send a giant Borg after us, or
Benny,
give us the firepower to take a Borg out.
Benny says, "Yeah, I've got those codes to talk to Meta if we need to.
That might be an option.
Once we
Gotta make sure she's not in the room.
once we know what to say and when we're ready to say it."
Right. But I appreciate y'all not wanting to sell me up the river Styx for as easy as it could be. That's still an option, though. I look at Benny, I'm like, if we try everything else under the sun and it doesn't work, uh-oh. Am I breaking up?
No, yeah, you're
Yeah.
doing great.
Yeah, here.
We're listening.
If we try everything under the sun and it still doesn't work, Benny, you guys need to leave and I will stay here.
It sounds like to me, and I know I am the newest of the crew that's here, but it sure sounds to me like first of all, no one wants to give you up, because obviously. But the important thing is this sounds like that's not gonna fix the problem. I mean, if we just say, "Hey, it was Fenton and he's gone," then we are still going to have this problem. She's going to take it personal with the Midnight Runners, not so much just Fenton.
No, you tell her exactly where I'm at as you guys are leaving California.
Is that even plausible, Benny?
I mean,
For us to leave California right now?
we don't have a contract to take us out of California, but we can go somewhere else and get work. We can get outside of Ember's field of influence. Sure, give us a day, and we're road bound. But
I'll give Benny
I
my
think
father's contact.
I think that's last minute. I think that's last resort. I don't want to leave you here, Vinton. I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I agree, right? The family comes first, and if anybody has to fall on the sword, it frankly better be an edge runner instead of, one of these other folk out here. But
Timmy, get in here.
yeah, exactly. Thank you, Dexy. You hear what I'm saying? You hear what I'm saying, Dexy? Yeah. But here's the thing, like, okay. Do we have to make this decision right now? She said she was going to look into it, right?
We gotta make a decision before she finds an answer she doesn't like. Yeah.
All right.
Or
And
it's
she's
too convenient.
Yeah. So let's.
or somebody talks to her ear.
Sure. Spring, right? That's the big
Yeah.
worry. Let's noodle this. Let's think about it. Let's be smart. Who do we like? Who can we use? Right? We've got Hitchens, right? That's a fixture we all trust. She's got a Borg, right? We've got maybe a Meta, right? They're trying to broker a relationship with us. We're trying to broker a relationship with them. Like, here's the thing. Meta helped the long walk, right? They helped hundreds of people, thousands even. They're not going to send her after us today. That's not who they are. At least that's not who they were. I don't know. Maybe she'll figure it out and they can't stop her. But I don't think Meta's going to tell her.
Guys, I think there's something that we may be forgetting, something we may be overlooking that might be very, very important. That robot thing on the ceiling didn't open fire until she saw the nanites. Something picked a fight with Ember because it didn't want her to have the nanites. There's somebody else out there.
That was some primo tech. I don't even know what it was. I don't even know who made it.
There's only a handful of companies out there that are left,
Well, of course, but it's
and I
that
can
thing
only think
scares
of
me.
2.
Maybe they're the answer to our Ember problem.
But isn't that just jumping in bed with a different devil?
Maybe, but you know what? That might be somebody that Ember wronged, and they're just, you know,
To point out, they killed O'Keefe, not Ember, and it looks like they had the opportunity to do so.
Well, I don't know.
No, I think it's a good point, Oz, and it's something we should look into. But
I think at the very least, we need to be aware of. We need to find out who that was and what they were doing and how that's going to affect us.
we should maybe put in a call into Hitchens. She might be able to get us information on that. Maybe, and maybe that's where we start. You know, she has a Borg. Borg against Borg action. I hear it sells in all the movies, right?
That's right.
Man, how am I the only fixer in this city
Right.
that work? It's fuck.
Yeah, Dex, you were
I don't
born in
like
the wrong
this.
time. You don't have the right mom and dad. Your parents were entertainers, not Borgs.
Yeah.
How do Borgs read?
Dex, if you want to call Hitchens, I think I'm gonna go contact on Meta Contact if that's all right with y'all to try to get some more
I
answers.
don't know if right now. Maybe we should wait just a little. Just a little bit.
Yeah, our meta.
I'm
Fair enough.
really concerned that she's in a safe house with Meta.
Well,
Give it a couple hours, at least.
Fair enough.
Benny, let's see what the local news is saying. It's probably
Let's.
on the feeds now, right?
Yeah.
And he pulls up the garden, and you see like, firefight at the docks, deal gone bad, all this stuff.
Midnight Runners burned out orphanage.
No. But you do see there's notes about a Meta raid. That Meta have put boots on the ground in Night City. And there's all these like spin-off theories about them trying to control the docks. Conspiracy theories. People like, oh yeah, they're trying to make a play for the docks. They're pirates. All this kind of stuff. So the fact that Meta has shown up and has boots on the ground, even briefly, has really spun out a lot of stuff in the city.
David, just real quick, did you say it was a meta raid?
That's what is showing up in the garden. And the garden is think social media, think anybody with a keyboard can bang out some knowledge, right?
Just checking because first what I heard meta raid, and I'm like, they're throwing
I'll take that over a raid.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So yeah, there's because the bot was the big thing that showed up that caught a lot of people's interest. That a lot of people saw the bot, right? If it showed up on social media, is a picture of that Meta bot that Gabby was driving, or maybe another one. But either way, like word is, boots on the ground from Meta means like big change in the whole Night City political landscape. Because normally Meta doesn't. I mean, they probably dock here every so often, but they're not involved in Night City's BS. So yeah, there's a lot of little conspiracy theories spinning out from this right now. No mention of your mystery guy and his bots. Just Meta.
Ooh. Yes, call Hitchens. Do we have any? Did we take? I would ask the ones who are on the cams the most. Like, did we take any pictures of that individual for ourselves? Please say
Vi
yes.
did.
Definitely.
What?
Vi did with her voice stress analyzer. All that shit's recorded.
Vi did a lot of recording stuff. That's what she does.
Do we have pictures of homeboy with the grafted sunglasses?
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that I can get good pictures out, David. I do have the photography skill. If you,
Yeah,
if I
actually,
have
let's
to
do a
anything,
photography
so-
skill real quick to see if you get like good angles on him. Because there's only a few times where he's looking up enough for you to really get a good shot on it. Oh, 19? Hell yeah. Oh yeah, you got that.
I'm so
Also,
artsy.
you have a great image of multiple angles of O'Keefe getting turned into liquid.
Yeah, that one is problematic for Vi, but
Yeah.
she does have it.
The colors are really vibrant. You
Yeah.
can really see the spray across the screen.
Yeah.
Does
And
Vi have like the eyes that bring things up, or is it just like straight to your brain? Because that would be terrible if that's just going straight to your brain.
no.
I don't. I have special eyes. They're very special.
Okay.
Special eyes.
Vi,
And it
Yes.
was O'Keefe saying it, right? It's talking about the Nineads healing.
Yes, it was O'Keefe.
Yep. Okay.
let's
Look,
work
I
at
think
Hitchens. Yeah.
I wrote it. I wrote it all down. In
Yes.
The book,
Yes.
as you were saying it.
Good.
Do you all want to make that call right now to Hitchens? Because she might be.
Hey.
She might have that
What are we calling
identity.
her for? Try to ask her about the dude with the sunglasses.
Yeah, see if she knows the
Yeah.
tech. If there's somebody who will know about any kind of out there tech, it's going to be her. She's our best bet on that one.
But wait,
Wait,
does
what?
she know? She doesn't know that we were there. So wouldn't by sending her that picture tell her that we were there?
Oh, I pulled all the metadata off of it, like before I sent it to Dexy. So it's just information that we bought or got. She can make up her own mind about what that is, and
If
Dexy can sell a sale if he wants.
I just got an email from no reply at notdrvi.com.
Yep.
I mean, if y'all feel safer, we can bring her here. We're on that kind of terms where I think she would come out here if you just want to show her.
That's gonna take a lot longer though, right? That's
Yeah.
We're buying information. She's a fixer. We buy and sell. They buy and sell information, right?
it's good. We can do this. This is fine. This is gonna go well.
Dexy, I don't know why
I
you're
have-
so nervous. Do you want me to make you something to eat, Dexy? You're seeming really nervous, like
Say-
really worried.
Out of my kitchen.
I was just thinking some
Not in the kitchen.
popcorn. I mean, I could make some dinner.
Here's a
Whatever
bar.
calms you down.
He probably like will be like, hey Squeaks, bring in some Johnny cakes or something like that, like something that like it's gonna be like, yeah, no, it's this thing. Nobody's eaten in a while. This will help. But like everybody's like, what? I don't like.
Yeah.
Why is this the thing that you sent it for?
And
Like,
and then also some like chocolate chip cookies, right? Well, chocolate chip cookies, right? Whatever we can get in the time of the red that constitutes a chocolate chip cookie. That's what y'all get.
it's mostly made of like carob and wax. That shape.
God.
Yeah. Oh, it's so sad by comparison.
Some chocolate flavoring on top. Oh, we lost.
Oh no, my camera's
Yeah.
locking up on me. This is
Oh,
fun.
no. Our internet today is great, just all around the board.
Yeah. I am going to do you mind if I break the layout for a second? Because I really
Yeah.
don't want that to be how I look all night.
Sure.
Oh. Sorry. Getting
Oh, there
back.
you
All
go.
right. Hey, that's better.
Good stuff.
I'm just gonna hold really still with my mouth open all night. That'll be fun.
That's all right. We
Um,
can continue to play the game with Casey where we're trying to decide if he's being very still or if he froze.
I'm here.
He's just so mad about spring, guys.
I'm mad about spring. I'm mad how the meta deal went down. I'm mad the Ember's down, and I'm mad y'all will let me throw myself on my sacrificing sword to get out of this trouble. I appreciate how much all the players like Vinton.
And how much Benny likes Vinton. Benny's not gonna just let Vinton go. That's not. Who's gonna drive the gambler, right?
Yeah, I haven't had any time to
Talk.
teach any. I haven't had any time to
That's a
teach.
bad
No, Talk
idea.
can't ever drive any of my vehicles ever again.
I don't want to drive ever.
Yeah.
Dexy has some drive. Dexy's fine. Dexy knows how to do this thing.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I'm here, guys. I'm here.
I'll still drive.
So
Do the
Yep.
thing, Dexy.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So let's call Hitchens.
Yeah.
This is the thing where I get to set up like a virtual like Zoom background and be like, it's a picture like Silas behind me. Just
That's
like
right. Just hanging out. Just
She
hanging
doesn't
out,
care about
flexing
she
his
doesn't care
cyber
about
arm.
him anymore. She
Yeah,
doesn't
no.
care
No,
about Silas
what?
no
No.
more.
yeah,
Yeah, it seems
She
like
only-
that has been spoiled somehow.
She only
disappointing.
wanted him for his body.
Sorry.
I got to go back and watch a couple extra episodes apparently because I missed something good. All right, moving on. Yeah.
I'll
So
tell you when you're older.
Call Hitchens.
yes.
Perfect. Yeah, you reach out to Hitchens. It takes a little bit to get her, but she comes online and she says, "Dexy, how's it going? You guys make it back okay with all the gear? You had a look at those servers yet?"
Yeah. No, the Dexy gives an appropriate answer that Mike doesn't know.
Okay. The answer is
Yeah.
no. Y'all haven't opened them up yet.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely started taking
Oh,
apart
I
and
figured that's
looking
what
at
I
them and
did.
like
Okay.
s-
We
Yeah.
haven't done it, so I'm
Right.
not sure yet.
yeah, no, Oz has been taking a look at those and like the gearbox and the pistons. That's how servers work, right? Yeah, no, it's going well.
Dexy, it amazes me that, that you even have an agent and that it still works. Well, all right. I want to say thanks again
it's
for
like the flip phone equivalent. But
it's the razor equivalent of the stuff. She says, "I want to thank you again for pulling us out of there. Y'all did, you really handled yourselves well, and the crews that we were working with, they wanted to express their thanks as well. So, I'm sure that's not what you called to have me gush about how amazing you all are, but just
yeah, I
wanted
mean
to
we're always glad to help. Your satisfaction is always job number one.
Yeah.
And we'd like that to be reflected in our
survey
evaluations and
results.
reviews.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
She says, "What can I do for you?"
Hey, so we were out and about and we saw this dude. And do we want me to try to ask her about like those drones too, or
Yeah.
yeah? Um,
No.
we ran into this guy and he had some funky drones that actually were pretty impressive. We didn't get a chance to find out who he was though. I was wondering if you might have any kind of ID on him or anything.
Sure. Sorry, I'm trying to unscrew my thing. There we go. So you send her the picture of this guy? Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you send her a picture of the drone? Is that right?
A picture of the drone if we have it, or at least a really good description as best as possible. If not,
Oh,
yeah.
I definitely had the weird, creepy drone picture. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, you send her both of these things and her info knowledge. Okay. She says, "Huh. Okay. Yeah, I can dig up some information on this person and this robot, drone, whatever this is. Yeah, I've got a way to get this for you. How bad do you need it?"
World's weirdest board conversion. Yeah.
I really
it's
hope that's not a person. God.
yeah, that would be awful. That would be sorry I brought it up. I mean, it would be pretty important to us to try to get some information here about what's going on.
Okay.
Um, as is always the way, the sooner the better.
Sure. Rest job, all that good stuff.
I feel like that goes without saying for anything nowadays. The way the world has gotten in these years.
Yeah. What do you want to? What do you want to put on the line in terms of trade for information on your mark and this robot thing?
Um.
Trying
Oh,
to sign to
sorry,
Mike.
sorry.
I was saying
Yeah,
chat.
I was like, yeah, I was gonna be like, do we want to offer money? Is there something else that we can offer in trade here?
Right.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, no, like, what's an appropriate amount? Yeah, Dexy will offer like 15% under an appropriate amount of money.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So you want to do it all over cash, right? That's really what I was asking for. Is like, are y'all gonna offer up like some kind of trade item, barter, or just straight cash? If straight cash, that's easy enough. Go ahead
Yeah,
and do
cash is like the
yeah.
main thing
Let's
right
do your haggle versus her haggle.
now. Right, so that's trading. Plus 5. So that is 27.
They're broken. I'm telling you, their fixers are broken.
Okay. Cool. So she talks you up on price. And it's gonna come into right at like 4,400. And she
The
says
entire cake from tonight. Yeah.
almost, yeah. She says for that amount, I can probably get you the guy's name, what this robot is, and any known affiliates. I gotta pay off the right kind of people for someone who dresses like that.
Dexy will make the deal and figure out if the tribe will pay him back for it afterwards.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that. I mean, we kind of use the tribe as a slush fund, anyways. So I guess I'm okay with that. Yeah.
And you take it out of that one payment you haven't figured out yet.
That works. That's easier for me
Just
to
easy
stomach.
math. Yeah.
That's easier for me to stomach. Thank you. Okay. So yeah,
I mean, there was. I know from the night with the night market, there was a bunch of cred that came in from that too. So
right.
I don't feel too bad.
Yeah. So she says, yeah, let me. You need this right away, right? Like you need it tonight.
Perfect world, being able to like talk about it over breakfast with friends, family. That would be, nice.
Okay. Yeah, I can move on this. I can spend some of that script to get some answers sooner rather than later. Okay. I'll get you something tonight, and then if some more of my questions come back, tomorrow throughout the day or something like that, I'll make sure they get to you as well.
Okay, cool. I will be waiting eagerly by the phone.
Okay. Well, take care. All right, Dexy.
I'll do that. You too.
Let me know if you ever want any work done.
Hey, I'm thinking about it.
Tease.
I got this
She
hip I
hangs up
might
on
want
you.
to. So no, I mean, like, legit. He could be thinking about trying to do something for that hip because
Okay, good.
that's
true. You have a bum leg, and there's in replacing stuff for like ability, like mobility, no humanity loss. It's when you're like, I want to turn into a weapon. That's when they're like, oh, humanity loss.
yeah. I want to stop limping and be able to run again. Okay, cool. I want to like RoboCop, have my thigh open
Yeah.
up, and my bots out.
Yeah, yeah. Humanity
You
loss.
mean
on.
you mean
Slow
to
down.
what Ta wants? Like
Yeah.
right now?
Yeah.
My active goal in
Yeah.
life
Yeah.
to get to that.
Have you seen the Borg suit in the tech tent?
Yeah. Yep. Okay, good. So you let's fast forward to that coming in. Because unless anybody else have any other things y'all want to do before that arrives.
Nope.
Okay. So yeah, she comes back. This guy's name is Cade. Kade. That's his street name. He is a oh, actually, here, I think I did not share that with all of you. Players can see the stuff. There we go. So his name is Cade, and he is a known Arasaka agent. And he is known for having little bots.
Well,
Little.
there's our fire.
That these guys are not so little. They are. It's like a. It's a relatively new droid, or I should say drone, a relatively new drone configuration from Arasaka US. Which, thank you to Gigos, is headed up by Michiko Arasaka. Which is all in
Well,
our
I
Discord.
guess that answers one thing, eh? I thought you said she was working with.
I did. I said there was connections.
Well, not the good ones, apparently.
Or maybe not. Maybe Arasaka was using the lure of nanites as a way to control Ember, and these guys came in and made an offer. They had to stop that.
Hmm. Yeah, because they would have parts for her. That could make sense.
Yeah.
But why? Hmm.
Maybe they could have blamed. If it gets back to that, it's maybe they can swing it that it was Meta that did this hit. I mean, we already saw the news stories, right? Meta with boots on the ground. Arasaka's not mentioned at all. Takes care of a potential problem. That's what corps do, right?
Yep.
Arasaka could see Meta as a competition in Night City, moving into an area that they were trying to move into.
Has there been, David? Has there been Meta Arasaka?
You broke up. I'm sorry.
Has there been Meta Arasaka stuff in the past?
You know, Meta has conflicted with Corps in the past, right? Like all of the Mega Corps. Now that Arasaka has split into 3 different factions, that has given Meta a lot of wriggle room in the oceans, right? Because they're no longer unified. So it stands to reason that Meta really stands to benefit from Arasaka being split like it is.
Did we just get stuck in the middle of something between a bunch of bigger people that we didn't need to be a part of?
Probably.
Run of the mill.
No, a
Could
run
go
of the
there.
mill is like getting in your car, going to getting groceries, and going home. That's run of the mill.
Not for us.
No.
I mean, for us, legitimately, it's like getting in your car to go get groceries and like starting a gang war halfway home because you forgot cheese whiz. That's pretty much more like us.
Okay, look. It was one time, and it was an accident.
We were to never speak of that.
And it was supposed to be nacho night, so I needed it.
Well, I guess we'll do what we can, get information as we can, and make sure Vinton doesn't run off to go be a paladin or some shit.
Well, let me know what you need me to do because I think it's going to get crazy soon, and we may need to be prepared for all outcomes.
Yeah, you and I should talk about that Borg stuff. I might have frozen up again, or not.
No, you got it.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I think everybody's
Did
just
you not hear me?
thinking.
Oh yeah, no, I said no. Let's do that. Sorry, maybe I froze.
Deep in thought. Yes. Casey.
So,
Blink if you can hear us, Casey.
I feel
He's just so mad about spring
yeah.
that
it's
this is
just-
just what he's in now.
I think yeah. Um, I think we're at a good. I kind of feel like we're at a good stopping point, honestly, because you'll have
Mm.
some critical information that the players needed, the characters needed. I should say the characters needed this information. And we have a big dust up going on in the power structure at Night City, which is fun. We're not going to resolve it tonight.
Oh
Yep.
shoot,
Yeah.
he's back. I will say before we break that Oz, as we are all getting ready to leave the tent, will send his customary message to Big Toe to let him know that Todd's on his way back and to scrap. Because I like to give him warning.
Yeah.
You know,
Meeting's wrapping up, Big Toe. Big thanks, buddy. As he recompacts his whole like working sitch back into the corner to get out of Taw's way. Oh my god. All right. So everybody at home, we're gonna end it here. I think we'll just call it. I don't want to really like go through the effort of rating because it's getting a little late for me. But this has been awesome. I love having like some fallout from some shit and some like big changes happening in our city here. Ah, this feels good. Chapter 3 is crazy. So good. All right. Everybody at home, thanks a ton for tuning in. And as always, have fun and play well.
May all your rolls be crits.